Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. To pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You're good at basement basketball.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Mortgage Group. I've been teaching here at Guerin Catholic for 13 years. I've been assistant coach also for 13 years. And I think it's important in today's world that we have young people growing up with the morals and values of faith-based education.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group, and I support Guerin Catholic High School because I'm good friends and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari, and any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar.
Guerin Catholic Sports on Indiana SRN.
Where you're always in the game.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the McAnally Center, the campus of Greencastle High School and Indiana girls basketball. Tonight, the Braves of Indian Creek at 5-2, and the host Tiger Cubs looking for their first win, coming in at 0-7. Tonight's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Also by Bertner Electric, your licensed and experienced electrician serving Central Indiana. IUPUI Sports Management, a lifetime of sports with a winning degree. Piper Logistics, 3 services, 1 solution. And by Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Troy Darengowski along with Jarrett Lewis. We're back here again at the McNally Center. We had a doubleheader last night. We're back here again tonight for more Greencastle girls basketball. They ended up losing last night to West Vigo 30-27 in a close ball game throughout, in which in the first half Greencastle had built a 7-point lead, just could not hold on in that one, and yet Indian Creek comes in here at 5-2 after picking up a win last night. Jared, I know you saw the Greencastle Tiger Cubs a little bit last night, shot a lot of threes, turned the ball over quite a bit last night. They just could not finish out and get a win.
No, they couldn't, and it's kind of been the story of the season so far, just not really been able to score the basketball. A lot of low-scoring affairs. They're only averaging 31.5 points as a team under Coach Doug Greenlee, who's in his first year coaching this Tiger Cubs girls program. And, you know, when you play a lot of conference opponents, too, and that's one of these teams tonight in Indian Creek, you want to try and play your best basketball, and they've already had 4 conference games under their belt after that game last night against West Vigo. So now you're entering your 5th conference game already in the season, which is game number 8. So a very heavy, conference schedule in the Western Indiana Conference for both Indian Creek and Greencastle. So hopefully the Tiger Cubs can learn a lot from their game last night against West Vigo, in which they only fell by 3 points and only scored 27. Maybe try to mix things up a little bit offensively, try to get some more points up on the board.
All right, one thing that really sticks out, and I'm not big on statistics overall, but sometimes you look and you go, well, we know kind of why they're really struggling, and you look at the field goal percentage, only 26% shooting overall for Greencastle. They got to find a way to get some easier baskets. I mentioned to you earlier, 6 out of the 10 baskets they made last night, 3-pointers. They need some 2s in there someplace.
And that's kind of the deal with the boys team as well. Jimmy Cook and I had the chance to do the boys game after the girls and the boys-girls doubleheader last night with West Vigo. And, the boys really relied heavily on the 3, and their opening game, they struggled shooting it from downtown, and that's kind of the same case with Greencastle. So kind of like I said, try to get things more balanced in your offensive game and, run a few more sets maybe, and then maybe try to start some things off with defense. The best offense sometimes is really good defense. So first turnovers, maybe try to get into a little bit of a fast break game and not rely so heavily on the 3.
We'll take a timeout when we come back. Starting lineups and the tip-off coming up in a couple of moments. This is high school basketball right here on Indiana SRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a deer. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
What's the number one misconception you think about Freemasonry?
Well, I think most people just think of Freemasonry as some kind of secret society, and you go with some of the rumors out there and so on, and they really don't understand who we are. They don't understand that we are a fraternity of brothers first, and our obligation is to take care of each other and our widows and orphans, etc., within our group. They don't understand what the fraternity part of Freemasonry really is, and that's the misconception that's out there. I think first and foremost of anyone that wants to join Freemasonry, I'd like them to know that it's really not a secret society. You may say it's a society with a secret because we have some handshakes and some passwords that you could easily find down in a library if you get the right book. Freemasonry is more, it's a brotherhood, it's a fraternity, it's a way of sharing common thoughts and everything with people of all different vocations that really understand of getting together on the level. Whether you're a judge or a police officer or a janitor, you're all on the same level when you're in a Masonic lodge room. And I think that's one of the greatest things, that you can sit with people of all vocations, but you have that certain thing in common, that you're all brothers.
Back once again at the McNally Center here in Greencastle. You take a look at Indian Creek. We really didn't get a chance to talk much about them, but they are coming in at 5-2 on the season. Picked up a nice win last night at home over Owen Valley. In fact, really shut down Owen Valley 60-22. And they have a couple of young players that I'm interested in seeing how they play tonight.
Yeah, they have 2 sophomores that are going to start for them tonight, and they're leading them in scoring. The first one being Lauren Foster, who's averaging 14.5 points a game, and also Wiseman is the other one. She averages 12.7. That would be Faith Wiseman, and she's got some height to her as well, and she's right there with number 22, bumping fists with the referee. So definitely can already see there might be a size advantage going in favor of Indian Creek. Wiseman measures up at 6'3". She's a sophomore. And then also leading them in scoring is a senior. So you have an experienced player in your starting 5 that can help you out as well. And that's Emily Totter playing the point guard position. Indian Creek with a really good start to their season, 5-2, like you said, Troy. And Brian Ferris in his 5th year has had a really good mark, hasn't had a losing season in his 5 years coaching of the Lady Braves.
And he has them playing well right now. They've won, again, 3 in a row after their win last night over Owen Valley, and also close last night for the Tiger Cubs as they lose to West Vigo 30-27, but close to winning their first game of the season last night. So there you see the Tiger Cubs in their home whites here tonight. Indian Creek will be in their red uniforms, and we're ready to get this one started. We already talked a little bit about Foster, Wiseman, Totter, Lawler, and Hall getting the start tonight for Indian Creek, and we'll keep an eye on things for you as we go throughout the season. And again, Foster just over around 14 points per game, leading the way for Indian Creek. So here we go. Thanks for being with us. Doubleheader basketball. We'll have the boys game following this one. Jarrett will have the call on that game. And we'll be through another week of high school basketball. The girls, believe it or not, you think about it, they're nearing already the halfway point of this high school basketball season. The opening tip will be one. It'll be Indian Creek basketball, and here we go. And we saw a lot of zone last night out of Greencastle. They're going to open up, try to match it up. Ball loose and an early turnover for Indian Creek, their first turnover of the season. And we're going to go back the other way, and that one is thrown into the crowd, and they even it out. 'Tis the season of giving, as we said last night, each team of the turnover.
Well, we kind of mentioned it in the pregame how Greencastle can, in order to try and score a little bit more, start things off on the defensive end, and they force an early turnover there, but just miscommunication, not on the same page to start.
Well, and that's one thing, again, Greencastle, you're going to stay in a ball game against good teams, and they played a winning team last night. You got to find a way to not turn the basketball over. First shot on the way is good. Basket made by Savannah Hall. So Hall will get Indian Creek on the board. It's 2-0. Chavez drives baseline. We have a whistle. The ball's knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay right here. Well, you know, and the one thing about Greencastle, too, they cannot afford to get behind early. They just don't have the type of offense that's going to get them back in a game very quickly, so they really have to take care of the basketball here in the first half.
Yeah, I think a good start in this first quarter is crucial, just like you said, Troy. Keep your team in it. Don't get out of it too early.
That's Morales down on the baseline, bouncing. The shot on the way, no good by Emma Hunter. Hunter hit a couple of shots early, finished with 8. There's a layup at the other end. That'll be McClanahan getting her first 2, and it's now a 4-0 ball game.
Great find, great job running the floor by the Braves. Most of the defense from Greencastle on that one side of the floor, and McClanahan was left wide open, cutting down the middle of the court.
There you see Indian Creek now applying some pressure not only to the basketball, they're doing it from end to end and really trying to take this Greencastle offense out of its rhythm. And there's another turnover by the Tiger Cubs. That's their second. Need a stop right here. Wiseman looking inside, the kick out. Here's a three on the way short. As Tudor can't get it to go, we have a battle for the loose basketball in the lane, and we do have a foul call of the underneath official making the whistle there.
Nice job by McClanahan. Back-to-back possession. She's just playing smart basketball, that time crashing the boards and getting an offensive rebound, setting up another chance for Indian Creek to score.
By the way, Emma Hunter got into some foul trouble last night. The three from the left wing, no good. Long rebound by Hunter. That last foul was on Hunter of Greencastle. Still 4-0. Three on the way. That's an air ball shot there by Zellers. You know, Zellers didn't get many shots last night. It was really up to Evelyn Briones who got some early shots, but this offense off to a very slow start.
Hey, you had a decent position there, too. Hunter recognized the double team, was able to get rid of the ball quickly, and he makes some nice passes to the open girl. Just unable to hit the three.
They go big inside as Wiseman can't get it to go. Wiseman, a double-double player, over 11 rebounds per game and nearly 13 points per game. And we have a whistle that'll stop playing, a foul call. And it looks like they're going to get Wiseman picking up her first.
Still too many opportunities there for Indian Creek. Had 2 offensive rebounds. Luckily for Greencastle, they don't come away with points. But one thing you want to make sure you're doing is boxing out those girls down low, not giving them second chance opportunities.
With the basketball, it goes out of bounds down on the baseline. We've got another foul call. This is going to go against Briones, and she picks up her first. So it'll be Indian Creek basketball, and the ball knocked out of bounds once again in the corner. We're going to stay right here. Last touched by Emma Hunter. 5:33 remaining here in the opening period of play. Indian Creek off the inbound once again. Will work in the half court. There's a three straight away at the top. No good by Lauren Foster. And the rebound by Morales.
You see that offensive set run here and there with certain teams. A nice elevator screen up top, getting your shooter open top of the key. I'm sure we'll see Indian Creek try to go back to that, try to get some three-pointers made off of that set.
Zellers that time working off the high post. Here's the drive. Chavez shot no good. And we're 3 minutes into the quarter and still Greencastle unable to put points on the board, and then we've got a traveling call after the rebound, second turnover by the Braves.
Yeah, Greencastle, they've had some decent possessions offensively, and Indian Creek kind of giving the ball back to them with a couple of turnovers, but Greencastle's going to have to keep up with that, keep that trend going of forcing turnovers and getting points off of those.
When you look at that Indian Creek defense, they're really forcing Greencastle out away from the paint, so everything they're looking at is from the outside. That'll be a jump ball, by the way.
Yeah, pretty good on-ball defense from Indian Creek. They're forcing some tough passes trying to be made by Greencastle, and still the Tiger Cubs will keep it.
Well, how long will this drought last for Greencastle? Still looking for their first basket. You see Hunter will inbound. She better hurry. Dangerous pass near midcourt, almost taken away there. So now back in the half court here for the Tiger Cubs. Near the sideline is Zellers, and Zellers dribbles away from the pressure and will set it up out front.
This defense of Indian Creek really getting up into their girl that they're guarding, getting into the passing lanes.
That three on the way is good. Briones hits the three. She's only averaging 6 points per game, but a big three, and they finally get on the board. Ball loose at midcourt. 3 white jerseys out front, but a foul call once Foster picked up the loose basketball. And they get Morales on the foul.
Yeah, we've mentioned the 2 super sophomores of Indian Creek, but Briones a sophomore herself for Greencastle, has 2 more good years left in her after this one, we're playing quality minutes at the varsity level.
Baseline shot. Wiseman playing on the outside at 6'3", shoots an air ball. It goes out of bounds. It will be Greencastle. A little surprised, though, that Wiseman at 6'3", I mean, bigger than anybody else, and it'll work her down low a little bit more.
Yeah, you can see that she brings that ability to stretch the floor and shoot from outside.
Nice pass inside to Hunter, and we've got a foul call, or did it just go out of bounds?
I think it was just swatted out of bounds, and that was Wiseman who good job of Greencastle being able to break that pressure and good passing on the opposite side of the paint, but pretty good recognition and reaction by Wiseman to swat that shot away.
Boy, if the Tiger Cubs got the ball down there a little bit sooner, might have been an easier attempt, at least from a standpoint of a layup there for the Tiger Cubs. We're down to the final 3:47 to go here in the opening period. We have a whistle and a traveling call, third turnover now by Greencastle. Going to take a look at the block shot now.
Yeah, Indian Creek went back to that full court press. They kind of can recognize that Greencastle really doesn't have a premier guard that can bring the ball up the floor. They've had trouble getting rid of the basketball. There's been great defense so far by Indian Creek, but still give credit to Wiseman for that block.
Whistle, and we do have a foul call. It'll be 2 shots right here for Indian Creek. You know what's amazing about this is Indian Creek got that early 4-0 lead. Greencastle hits 1 shot, and they're still in the ballgame.
That's how the games have gone this year for Greencastle. When you're not averaging very much offensively, you're not giving up very much to your opponents either. They've just been in these really low-scoring games. Kind of a titanic struggle.
Second free throw by Emily Totter. She missed the first one. Second one on the way is good, and they had gone on a scoring drought for a while. Now take a 5-3 lead. There's your zone trap once again, and a foul in the backcourt. If you're going to play that kind of defense, you can get yourself into early foul trouble. So you got to be real careful not to make those fouls 60, 70 feet away from the other team's basket.
Yeah, Tiger Cubs got lucky that time too, because this press has given them fits. And looks like they're going to kick that foul to Savannah Hall of Indian Creek. And whenever you throw an overhead pass like Greencastle has been doing, sometimes it's definitely not going to work, especially in a full court press like this.
That ball widely thrown down the floor, picked up there by Hunter, and a whistle and a foul call. Looks like they may get Wiseman right here.
And just as I say something, they throw a big long pass right down the court over everybody. That's worked a couple times now for Greencastle.
It's going to be McClanahan, not Wiseman, on the foul. And we'll go to the free throw line here. Emma Hunter has yet to score tonight, and the free throw's up and good.
Luckily for Indian Creek, it wasn't on Wiseman. That would have been 2. And a couple of times Greencastle also has been getting lucky with these passes. They've been batted around, but they still are able to retain possession. And nice job by Hunter, forcing the contact and drawing the foul.
Second free throw, no good. Tip Indian Creek basketball, a 5-4 ball game as we come up on the 3-minute mark. On the baseline drive and a double dribble called there on Wiseman. That'll be 4 turnovers now for Indian Creek. You know, apparently, and this is just an observation, that maybe Wiseman doesn't play very well with her back to the basket because everything she's received, she's facing.
And maybe getting a little antsy, too. She knows that she has a pretty good advantage with the matchup she's been given.
Morales missing the shot, and we have a foul in the backcourt. They may get Chavez. That'll be her first, I do believe.
Yeah, not a foul you necessarily need. Already Greencastle with 5. With 2 more, they'll put Indian Creek in the 1 and bonus, and they could be in that 1-and-1 for the entire second quarter, depending on how the rest of this quarter goes.
Boy, last night after 1, it was 5-4 Greencastle, and they're going to wave off the shot. Offensive foul called against the Braves.
They're going to say whoever it was that grabbed that ball over Greencastle.
That person about Indian Creek's number 20, Lauren McClanahan.
They're going to tag McClanahan with it. So I'm not sure if that's if she gave a push when she grabbed that rebound or what, but it looked like she just had the size and she just went over the top and snagged it.
I was watching the official make that call and kind of shook his head.
So now Indian Creek with 5 fouls too. They picked up 2 quick ones. We'll be seeing a lot of free throws perhaps in the second quarter.
Yeah, Emily Scott coming in now for Indian Creek. 2:34 remaining here in this opening period. Again, as I said last night, it was 5-4 after the opening period. Right now, 5-4. High post on the drive. Chavez will feed it on the wing. 3-pointers no good by Hunter. And the Braves out on the run. We don't run a whole lot. We haven't seen a whole lot of running so far. Back in the half court. The putback is good by Totter.
Totter running the floor after the miss, cleaning things up. Another offensive rebound for Indian Creek, and here they go again.
Yeah, one thing you don't want to do is get it to that wing and then get yourself trapped on the sideline. And a turnover again. The basket is good. We'll take a timeout. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back once again here at Greencastle. A turnover right there for the Tiger Cubs. They now have 5 turnovers, each team with 5 here in the opening period of play in this lowest scoring opening quarter as well. That is Foster. Wiseman driving baseline. Will feed in the corner, then get it back. Little jump hook up and good, and Wiseman on the board for the first time.
Wiseman's just such a smart player. It looked like in that right corner she was looking to get a shot off, and she noticed Greencastle closed in hard on her. They know that she's a good shooter, so she opts to drive baseline. Great vision to find her teammate in the opposite corner.
Boy, another costly turnover here for Greencastle as they get into the half court. They're not going to run a whole lot today, so everything they do is in the half court, and that's now turnover number 6. And now you start to see that lead widen a little bit more.
All the momentum right now, a little bit of a run for Indian Creek to close out this first quarter.
Wiseman handing off now to Foster, looking for an opening at the top. Drive right side, shot on the way, good. That'll be Emily Scott with the basket, her first 2.
Looked like Greencastle moved to a zone look, and Scott kind of in between 2 defenders. Nice little floater rising up. And I think Coach Greenlee has to take a timeout, getting close to that 10-second mark. This press that Indian Creek has brought has really made it hard on them.
Hey, a reminder, today's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group. We can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for you and your company. We can do more than that as well. Let them help you today. Contact the Morales Group at 317-472-7600. Right now, Greencastle trying to find an answer for this press. And even when they beat the press, you might agree with this, it looks uncomfortable for them. They're not really getting to the spots they need to go. Many times they're going to the sideline and getting themselves trapped, and they got to keep that ball in the middle of the floor.
Yeah, they're struggling with their movement a little bit. Once they get into the half court, they're kind of not very much movement from the girls without the basketball. Just don't seem that they're in sync totally. But here's a good opportunity to finish out the first quarter strong and keep this game within double digits.
So we're under a minute to go in the opening period of play. Greencastle got it to within 1. It was 5-4, but 8 straight. Another turnover, a steal. We go back the other way, and the layup good. Tudor gets the bucket. She now has 5, and it's now an 11-point lead. Back the other way we go. Baseline left is Maddie Plew has entered the ball game. Plew just a sophomore herself there for Greencastle. High post to Chavez, the kick out, and the 3. It'll be Hunter for 3.
Hunter responding nicely after that turnover, getting herself open on that right wing.
When they need that basket right there as we're down to the last 4 seconds to go. 3 straight away is off the mark by Foster, and that'll do it for the opening period of play. Indian Creek on top of this one, 15-7, as you see a steal here and the lamp to end things up. We'll take a timeout. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Welcome back once again to Greencastle High School as Indian Creek opening up a 15-7 lead after the opening period of play. Emily Tudor with 5 points, 2 by Foster, Wiseman 2, Hall 2, McClanahan and Scott each with 2. It'll be Braves basketball to open things up in this quarter. Leading the way, Briones has 3. That shot in and out, no good. Hunter has 4 points for Greencastle. The Tiger Cubs running the other way, and they turn it over, stolen there by Foster. That's now 8 turnovers. Running the floor, they go big. Wiseman can't hold on to it, and it goes out of bounds.
Well, that's a tough pass to make for Indian Creek, and you like Wiseman with her size, but maybe just a little bit too much on that one. Goes off her fingertips, and lucky for Greencastle, they've had turnovers more than Indian Creek, but the Braves have turned it over almost every single time that Greencastle has.
Very even in the turnover department. And you saw right there, Greencastle able to beat the press, got the ball in the middle of the floor, found the outlet to the left. Kind of was hoping maybe Emma Hunter would go ahead and pull up jumper. You know, the one thing is the ball goes out of bounds, and there's another one of your turnovers. You'd like to see players in today's game. It seems like we're either going to shoot a layup or we're going to shoot a 3. What's wrong with the mid-range jumper? She could have pulled right up right there and 12 feet away.
Well, Troy, don't you know the kids love the three-pointer, man? They love shooting it from deep.
Oh,
they have fallen in love with the three-point shot.
Well, I tell you what, I'll take a 2 once in a while, especially when our offense is struggling.
Yeah, if you're Greencastle, you'll just take any sort of shot. They haven't gotten off one in quite some time.
Here's a 3 from the left wing. That is good. That's Scott with her first 3 of the ball game. She now has 5. Back to an 11-point lead. Here's Greencastle back the other way. They answer the call.
There's that three-point shooting that everybody loves. And Scott, how about pretty nice points and contribution coming off the bench for Indian Creek. But nicely done by the Tiger Cubs. A really quick score on the other end.
All of a sudden, the offense picking up. It's 18-10. Wiseman, good ball movement in the corner. Another 3 on the way, good. That'll be Scott again. Yep. Wow.
Scott loves that side of the court, right in front of the Greencastle bench.
So again, the press giving the Tiger Cubs some issues as they get it across the timeline. Zellers now will set it up in the half court, nearly losing it right there, and a double dribble called against Zellers. And of course, that could have been a tough call right there from a standpoint. She said, listen, the defender touched it. I was able to pick it up and dribble again.
Yeah, the defender did tip it away from her, but she kind of tipped it herself, I think. She had the last touch and then picked it up again and made another dribble.
That'll be 10 turnovers now in the first half for Greencastle. They're down by 11 once again, and a whistle and a foul, and that's going to go against Chavez. It'll be her second. Now this team, Greencastle, doesn't have a lot of depth. He usually just plays 7 players, and now he sees one of his starters in foul trouble here in this one.
And he brings back Hunter in, and Chavez is going to have to take a seat. It's Another thing you don't want is some of your starters getting into that foul trouble in a game where you're down so early. You're going to need those girls to play as much as you can.
Shot missed by Tudor. Nice drive with the left hand. Can't get it to fall. Now will head the other way. Briones able to beat the press there, but she's trapped right there in the corner, and we've got a foul call. And the foul's going to be called against Lawler, her first.
Indian Creek has done a nice job. They recognize when Greencastle gets it over the mid-court line, they're trying to trap them, trying to put them in a hard spot. And that time they did, but just Greencastle getting bailed out with a foul.
Got another whistle. One official shaking his head again like, I can't believe we're calling all these fouls. He's going to report that foul to the scores desk. Well, he got Scott. Sometimes from our vantage point, it's hard to see where the official is pointing and what foul he's going to call as Morales goes to the free throw line for the first time today and misses the front end of the 1-and-1. So Morales scored 2 last night, and a double dribble call the other way. That'll be the 6th turnover now for the Braves.
Sometimes these girls are just kind of going too fast, I think. When they see all this open space in front of them, and they almost get too excited, and they lose track of the basketball and commit kind of unforced turnovers just like that one.
Well, they get it across the timeline, but boy, you're right in that dangerous area. Dribbling out of it is Hunter, misses the bank shot. And the rebound by Indian Creek. They'll fast break back the other way. They want to beat Greencastle down the floor, but the ball goes off the top of the backboard. That really should stay in play because the top is fine. It has to go over the back of it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as you, I think.
So is that guy up in the right corner there. He was like, wait a minute.
It was a good try by Indian Creek, kind of pushing it up the floor, trying to beat the defense of Greencastle.
Chavez will find Hunter, and another foul call, and we are now starting to build the fouls up on each side.
And there's still 5 minutes even left in this second quarter. A lot of free throws upcoming in this one. Greencastle here of late really taking care of the basketball much better, not having as many turnovers, able to break this press.
And that's enabling them to get some looks at the other end, though you got to hit the free throws. As the first one by Hunter is missed, she's now 1 of 3 from the line. Weissman back in the lineup after a short break. Second free throw now by Hunter is off the back of the iron, and tell you what, we've done some games this year, at least I have, where the free throw shooting has just not been very good. Weissman on the attack the other way is Indian Creek losing the basketball. That'll be turnover number 7. So now the Tiger Cubs. This is Dobbs who's entered the ball game for Greencastle. Again, looking for their first win of the year, but right now both teams have got a little bit cold in the offensive department.
And going back to those free throws, Troy, that would be a perfect chance for Greencastle to cut into the deficit. And especially later on in this game, if you're still trailing like this, if you're able to force fouls, get to the free throw line, you can stop the clock, keep yourself in the ball game. But so far, haven't been able to capitalize on their free throws.
Here's a 3 on the way, no good as Hunter settled for the 3. I think they got tired of running that half-court offense. There wasn't much there as Indian Creek played really good defense. The lob pass to Weissman. Cutting down the lane is Foster. Back to Weissman. Right hand off balance, no. And it goes out of bounds. It'll go back over to Greencastle.
So both these teams are really in an offensive struggle here of late. Points have been hard to come by. I think for Indian Creek, start to get Weissman involved a little bit more in that lane. She wasn't able to hit on that shot that time, but you continue to feed her. She definitely has the advantage down low.
Briones across the timeline, and yep, she drugged that pivot foot, and that'll now be 11 turnovers against the Tiger Cubs.
Returning for the Cubs, number 20.
It'll be Plough coming back in now for Greencastle. Tell you what, that number is going to keep growing. I might not have enough room on this stat sheet, but they've really got to cut that down because every time you give it back, you're giving up another opportunity and losing an opportunity.
Yeah, sure thing. And turnovers like that will just drive a coach crazy. You're the only girl that had possession of the basketball, and you commit a quick turnover right as you cross the midcourt line.
Chavez, I think, just picked up number 3 on that missed shot. Wiseman had that little jump hook in the lane. We're now in the 1 in bonus, I do believe, and we will shoot some more free throws now at this end. But that's tough there for Chavez with her third foul.
Number 5, Lauren Foster.
So Foster averaging 14 points per game at the line for the first time tonight. So far, just 2 points here in the first half, and she misses the front end of the 1-and-1. We have a jump ball, and the possession arrow will go with Indian Creek, or nope, it's going to be Greencastle.
That's real smart. Hit the weight room.
I just heard some guy say, hit the weight room. Everybody's a critic, aren't they, when they're in the stands? And here's the entry pass. Chavez will bring it up the floor herself. Splits 2 defenders. Tiger Cubs back in the half court. And there's another turnover. Back there the way we go. Shot on the way, rims in and out. As that one is going to be missed by Lawler, and then the putback good. Hall hits the bucket. She has 4.
Well, Briones did a good job of getting back and just going straight up, really affecting that first shot. But Greencastle didn't follow up with a box out, and they gave another second chance to Indian Creek to score.
Nearly throwing it away as Hunter runs it down in the baseline. You see that offense being forced out beyond the 3-point line again. And right now, the Tiger Cubs can't find anything 12 feet and in. Here's a 3 on the way. Good from the top. That's going to be Zellers hitting the bucket, I do believe. Number 11. Inside, basket good, and it'll be Wiseman with the bucket, and she'll go to the line after being fouled.
That was a really good set there from Indian Creek. He got it into the short corner, and Wiseman came from around the top of the key, cutting straight down the lane, and she beat her girl to the spot right there on that block. And got it up there high, kept it up there high, and put it off the glass nicely. Chance for a 3-point play.
Chance also to give Indian Creek a 13-point lead, and she does as Wiseman completes the 3-point play. There's the press again. Got to find a way to get it up the floor. Dobbs will do it herself. Once she crosses the timeline, nearly lost it. Now we'll give it to Plough. Baseline drive by Hunter, and we've got another foul, this time on Indian Creek. These 3 officials have been busy calling the fouls tonight.
Hunter really has been the one for Greencastle, being the most aggressive, trying to get to the rack, trying to draw fouls. We've seen her do it a couple of times so far in this first half. And she'll go back to the free throw line for, I believe, her second time.
So Hunter hits the free throw. She now has 4 points. Take a look at this. This is a 3 ball on their previous possession.
And on that possession, too, you saw the Tiger Cubs moving around a little bit. They moved the ball, passed it quickly between teammates, and ended up with a nice high percentage look from Zellers, who's a great shooter.
Both free throws good as we come up on the 2-minute mark. Back to an 11-point lead. Indian Creek basketball. Drive by, looks like Savannah Hall, and we've got yet another foul. Those whistles, though very good quality whistles, only guaranteed for a certain lifetime. And they're using a lot of it up here tonight. So we head to the free throw line, and the first one is good. Take a look at the and one right here. That is Pendleton
At the free throw line for the
inside to Wiseman. So Pendleton back to the line once again. Second one is no good. She'll get 1 of 2. 12-point lead under 2 minutes remaining. Chavez playing with those 3 fouls. Another turnover by the Tiger Cubs. Indian Creek trying to build on that lead here in the first half. Zoe Rayback is in the ball game, number 3 there for Indian Creek. She dives on the floor, and Indian Creek will get a 30-second timeout. Hey, don't forget to become an IHSA official. Contact the IHSA office. Get involved with the men and women behind the stripes. It's a great way to stay in shape and make some extra money. Be a part of the game. Contact the IHSAA at ihsa.org/officials.
Officials have had a eventful first half, that's saying the least. A lot of fouls called.
And here's the different thing about tonight from last night, and I know you didn't get a chance to see the entire girls' game. They really let them play last night. It was a very physical ball game, not a whole lot of fouls called, but tonight we're talking near 20 here in the first half. It's been a different call game. Following the timeout, it'll be Braves basketball. Foster spinning away from the defender. Here's a three on the way. That's good. There is Pendleton.
Foster being the leading scorer for Indian Creek draws a lot of attention. Just really good with the basketball. And got left wide open was Pendleton.
Well, as head coach, you like the idea that your leading scorer only has 2, and yet you're winning by 15. Other players have stepped up. Here's Hunter, double teamed on the baseline. Clue is there, and then another turnover. That's the other big story of this ball game. It's going to be the big turnover number by Greencastle. We're down to our final 50 seconds. See if Indian Creek will play for one right here to finish out the first half. Entry pass and another turnover the other way. That'll be 9 now for Indian Creek. We head back the other way. Wild shot by Chavez. Probably should have pulled it back out.
Yeah, I think so too. Just kind of a 1-on-3 situation. Pull it back out. Set up something offensively because you're at 30 seconds too, and now below that at 26.1. You can hold for the last shot.
Number 3, Audrey Brennan.
Audrey Brennan will come in to the lineup for the Tiger Cubs. Looks like the ball is going to, I thought that was going to be a turnover there for Indian Creek, and it is. That'll be number 10. Both teams a little confused on actually who owned the basketball. As you see, perhaps the final possession here in the first half. Chavez right in an area that is restricted by the head coaches. Here's Hunter, straightaway 3. No, as that one's hard off the back of the iron. So they don't even waste enough time to take that final shot. They go ahead and jack one up. Here's Indian Creek back the other way. Layup missed, and that was a bunny right there. And we have 3.5 to go.
Held ball possession, Braves.
Definitely going to want to have that shot back. That was Savannah Hall for the Braves. And I think after she missed it, she was kind of surprised that it didn't go down for her. But still a chance here for Indian Creek. Out of bounds under. Plenty of time.
Yeah, they get the entry pass to Faith Wiseman, who puts it in. And wait a minute, we have a stoppage of play here, as the officials will come together now. It looked like Wiseman hit the shot, but now we wait.
The Greencastle girls definitely weren't ready, and I'm not sure if all the referees were ready.
We had a tough call at the end of the first half or first quarter last night where the 3 was shot, and you clearly could see in the replay where the red on the backboard had already lit up.
3. 1, 2, 3.
So now again, they're going to put 2.9 on the clock. So apparently the first half will not be over.
Which is interesting because there was 3.5 on the clock. And, you know, I'm assuming the whole play just doesn't count. So wouldn't you just go back to the 3.5 and redo the throw-in?
Yeah.
But that's not the case. It looked Greencastle, their players, some of them just weren't ready at all. And after that pass throw-in, they were like, wait a minute. Why are we playing right now? There's something going on.
So they're going to take the Wiseman basket away. Is that correct?
That looks like it because there's 30 on the scoreboard. And that basket, at the moment, had 32 on it.
So an interesting way to end the first half as you see the official explaining what happened, and apparently got a good enough explanation, so we have a foul, I believe, on the inbound right there, and that's going to go against Chavez, and they left her in the ball game, and they had to gamble with her, and that's number 4 on my count.
And that time they had Wiseman as the thrower, as the inbounder, so they got it in. They're going to have her set up immediately, try to post up on the block and get a quick shot off to her. Normally they've ran it twice now where they just lob it up towards the goal, and Wiseman with her size, they just allow her to go reach for it.
Foster will be at the line.
Number 11, Anna Zellers.
Oh, they're going to say Zellers instead, so that's good news if you are a Greencastle fan. So Chavez will not pick up number 4. And here is Foster at the line. She missed the front end of a 1-and-1 her last time up, not this time.
And returning for the Cubs, number 2, Allie Dobbs.
Allie Dobbs will come back in for the Tiger Cubs. 16-point lead. If she misses, I doubt very much that Greencastle could put anything together right here. It'd have to be a Hail Mary. Second free throw is good. So quick inbound, you have to chuck it right here, and not enough time, though not a bad effort right there by Hunter. We have made it to halftime in a game full of turnovers and a heck of a lot of fouls as well. We'll come back. The halftime report is coming up in a couple of moments. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN.
High school junior class, and in the southeast corner.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Well, balanced scoring for the Braves in the first half. We'll talk about that in a couple of moments, and forcing Greencastle into numerous turnovers. And now you have a 17-point lead. And if you're Greencastle, we'll talk more about this in the second half, still got to find a way to get some shots other than a bunch of threes.
That's exactly right, and it's never a good thing when you have the same amount of turnovers as you do points. It's just been really the full-court press from Indian Creek had given them fits early on, and Greencastle started to break it a little bit, but even after that, they really weren't running very much offense. It was just a lot of motion, it looked like, and only a couple times we saw them moving the ball, made some nice crisp passes. Indian Creek's on-ball defense has been really good and really making it hard for Greencastle to get off a simple pass, and just your offense is out of sync at that point, and just it leads to 15 turnovers for the Tiger Cubs. And Indian Creek, for the most part, has been able to capitalize off of those. And like you said, balanced scoring. We really haven't seen a whole lot of Lauren Foster, their leading scorer, but she's been a facilitator. She's been getting the ball to some of her shooters. They've made a couple of threes from outside, but also utilizing Faith Wiseman to the best of their ability, getting her some touches down low in the paint.
You know, you speak of Indian Creek and their scoring, you're right. Foster only 4 points and Wiseman only 5 in that first half. But think about this, you had 7 players in the scoring column. Emily Scott came up big with 2 3-pointers in that second. She leads the way with 8. Hall has 4, Pendleton has 4, Wiseman 5, Tudor has 5, Foster 4, and then 2 points by McClanahan. I'll take 7 players in the scoring column anytime in the first half.
Yeah, Scott has the only 2 made 3-pointers for Indian Creek. So the Braves are really just taking what Greencastle gives them. They're not forcing up bad shots from outside. They're scoring most of their points from inside the arc. Not really getting to the free throw line a whole lot. We did see a lot of fouls called by both teams. But still, being able to force turnovers, their press has made a difference, and they've turned a lot of points put up on the scoreboard off of their turnovers.
Only 3 players in the scoring column tonight so far for Greencastle. Hunter with 6, Briones with 6, and Zellers with 3. We'll come back. Second half action is coming up in a couple of moments. Stay right there. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN.
Piper Group Warehouse has a strong commitment to their clients as their logistics provider. If you would like to discover how you can improve your service levels while lowering your overall cost, Piper Logistics Group can help. Call Greg Piper today at 317-396-3916. Piper Logistics Group.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
I'm Sean Branch, and I am entering my 6th year of teaching 6th grade Math, Science, Bible here at Greenwood Christian Academy. I think every teacher in the world wants to have an impactful relationship with each of his or her students. Here at GCA, I get to know these kids. I get to have an impact on their lives because I know what they're interested in, I know what they're passionate about, I understand what they're dealing with and where they're coming from. I've had relationships and communications with their parents, and so I'm able to speak life into them in and out of the classroom, which is a real blessing. As a former student athlete myself, I never thought I would be able to use that part of my journey to impact so many people's lives, but now here at GCA as a coach, I can take my knowledge of sport and use it as a ministry to help these young people.
Learn the story.
Love the story.
Live the story.
Hi, my name is Chris Cross, and for the last 6 years I have taught elementary at GCA, and I'm currently transitioning into an administrative role. 4th grade students are often struggling with who they are and how they relate to others. Being an elementary teacher, I have been able to speak God's truth into the lives of students just in an everyday manner. Just for example of tattling or gossiping and going into God's Word and saying, how does this word, God's Word, speak into this relationship? How do we use it? What do we do? And the greatest thing is that I've seen those kids take those pieces of information, put them into practice, and also teach their other fellow students. Out at recess, I've heard them say, well, what do you think God would say about this? And to me, that's the greatest thing that can happen here.
Your hauling or moving project has arrived, and College Hunks Hauling, Junk, and Moving has you covered. Honest. Uniformed. Nice. Knowledgeable. Service. College Hunks Hauling, Junk, and Moving.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Welcome back as we're getting set for the third quarter. Troy Dergowski along with Jarrett Lewis. There you see it, a 17-point lead for Indian Creek. And anytime you go into halftime, knowing that you've got to make some adjustments as a head coach, let's start first off for Greencastle. What did you tell your team going in that can at least get you back into this and make it a game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we got to take care of the basketball just a little bit more. We got to make crisper, cleaner passes. We can't have any unforced turnovers. Turnovers were definitely the name of the game in the first half for Greencastle. They had 15, and they also have 15 points, and that's never a good thing when those two things match up. So taking care of the basketball a little bit more, and we have to have better ball movement offensively.
Yeah, you look at the other side, Indian Creek really built this lead without their two leading scorers, Foster and Wiseman. I got to be pretty happy, other than they've turned it over 10 times, really how their press is done and how they've gotten other kids in the offense.
Yeah, Foster being the point guard for Indian Creek, just being a good floor general, making sure everybody's in the right spot, moving around. They've had nice ball movement, much better than what Greencastle had in that first half, and they're getting everybody involved.
Now look at this, Indian Creek almost in a 3-2 zone, and they've gone big out on top right there in the middle. So they've changed up things defensively, going to force this Greencastle team to shoot from the outside. Shot fake. Here's a mid-range jumper up and good. Briones asking he shall receive.
Great move by Briones. Get the girl up in the air. The defense was overshifted to one spot of the floor, and you have to close out hard on Briones, and great recognition to put up that shot fake.
Turnover early for Indian Creek in their first possession, so a chance here now for the Tiger Cubs once again to cut into that deficit. They'll stay in the zone. Speaking of the Braves, that is Chavez who took it all the way to the baseline. Nothing there, and they'll bring it back out top. Near steal. On the way, bucket good. There is Morales. Morales on the board for the first time.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned her name at all up until that point.
So early 4-0 run, and that's evened up the other way.
Quick
Looked
three
like
to
Tudor.
answer.
Was that Tudor hit the three?
I think so.
It was. I believe Tudor has 8. 35-19 your score. And back once again here for the Tiger Cubs. Good look there, Chavez, who drives and then throws it away. Turnover number 16. 3-on-3 break back the other way. The shot by Savannah Hall, no good, and the putback, yes. Wiseman able to get the rebound putback. She has 7.
That was just too easy for Wiseman, and a lot of girls ball watching for Greencastle. Nobody boxing out.
Chavez has it tipped out of her hands. She's down on the baseline, then throws it off the foot of either Wiseman or Foster down there. So it'll stay here with Greencastle. And we've got an early timeout here by Greencastle. Wait and see if they want a 30 or a full. It would be a full timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN. Well, Greencastle gets a timeout down 37-19. Just kind of curious what might be going through the mind right now of Greencastle and head coach Doug Greenlee. He saw something that he needed to get a timeout right there.
Yeah, maybe it could have just been that offensive rebound that they gave up on that previous possession to Wiseman. I'm sure that was a topic of discussion in the locker room. And quickly getting in that timeout, you don't want that to continue throughout the rest of the game.
And you look at Indian Creek switching up their defense back now to a 2-3. We've seen a man, a 3-2, and now they're 2-3 extended. Skip pass near side, Briona. She's been held in check tonight. Here's a three the other way. That's an air ball as it goes out of bounds. Couldn't tell if that was Chavez who shot that ball. Nonetheless, it'll go back over to Indian Creek.
I think it was Zellers, actually.
Okay.
So, but still, a good look for Greencastle, and Zellers can make those shots. Unfortunately, just coming up short, but good ball movement that time, found the open girl.
Wide open the other side. Missing it will be Foster. The putback good.
That was Savannah Hall, and she had good position that time down low. Again, nobody boxing out for Greencastle.
20-point lead, your biggest lead of the ball game, and Greencastle started out this quarter with the first 4 points. Now finding themselves a 7-0 deficit in this run. Here's the drive by Hunter. The floater rims in and out. The rebound the other way. That was Savannah Hall with a rebound. Now Indian Creek a chance to build on the lead. In the deep corner, Wiseman, skip pass. Almost getting away that time from Savannah Hall. Here's a shot on the way. Hall missed it. Offensive rebound. Put back, yes, and a foul. And Wiseman goes to the line. Chance for the three-point play.
A really good possession that time from Indian Creek. First with Foster kind of driving in. The defense collapses down on her, so she kicks it out for a shot from Hall. And again, it's just been over and over. Like we're just beating a dead horse at this point with Greencastle not being able to box out. And if you don't box out anybody, at least try and box out Faith Wiseman.
Well, guess what? Now Maddie Plew will come in to try to give Greencastle a little more size right here. The free throw is good. But when you're 6'3" in girls basketball, you can really dominate other teams. And right now, Wiseman into double figures with 10. Briona's bringing it across the timeline. She had 3 threes in the opening half last night, had 2 tonight. In the second half, nothing. And the ball loose out front. And we have a jump ball call right here. And the possession arrow will be in favor of the Braves.
Going back to this missed shot from Hall. There was a box out down low by Zellers on her girl, but Wiseman was left alone. And that's the last girl that you want to leave left open in the lane.
Entry pass Wiseman, nice turn, shot with the left hand, no, and that's a nice play when you see your bigs doing stuff like that, going right and left-handed.
Yeah, kind of gave a little fake to this side and then went over the right shoulder. Nicely done by Wiseman, who really has a bright future for the rest of her time here.
Drive down the lane by Chavez, almost uncontested, missed it. Hall back the other way, lead pass will find Wiseman. And now they'll set it up once again to the drive by Wiseman, no, and we've got another foul. Want to remind everybody, Christmas music played on Indiana SRN through January the 3rd, I do believe, is what Keith had mentioned. So we have all the Christmas music you want right here on Indiana SRN 24/7 for the rest of the Christmas season.
Now that it's December, that is the right time to do it. It's no longer November. We don't want to hear Christmas music during November. I guess if you play it after Thanksgiving, maybe you can get away with it, I guess, but we can wait till December to put Christmas music out there, right?
Then I'm going to ask you, you're of the younger generation than me. When is the best time to start doing the Christmas ads? Because I saw some way back in early September.
I did too. Some car commercials or clothing stores way too early. I'm like, wait a second here. We're not to Halloween yet. We're already thinking about We're already thinking about Christmas.
So here's Wiseman at the line. Starting to dominate this third quarter, but misses the front end of 2. We'll stay at 42-19, 3:55 remaining here in the third. Now, I'll tell you what, Greencastle, after scoring the first 4, they have just struggled offensively. Second free throw is good. Reminder, Foster just 4 points tonight so far for Indian Creek, their leading scorer, but they haven't needed her right now. Zellers across the timeline. Now we'll see Indian Creek go man-to-man. Ball tipped right back to Zellers. And that'll be Chavez. Blue looking for the high post, receives, and now we'll look opposite. Low bounce pass to Hunter. Guarded there by Hall. Here's Blue, straight away. Air ball goes out of bounds. Back over now to Indian Creek. Well, they don't have an answer for their offense now after an early hot start in the third.
It took a while for both teams to really get going. Indian Creek kind of started to open up the scoring in the second quarter, and here it's now just really getting away from Greencastle.
Wiseman at the top, puts it on the floor. We've seen her do that quite a bit. Now playing with her back to the basket, got trapped underneath. Basket is good there by Savannah Hall as she gets knocked to the floor, and she'll go to the line and try to complete the three-point play.
How about that? Savannah Hall taking all that contact. It's a wild shot, but she's able to bank it in. First for Wiseman, setting herself up on the block. She realizes she doesn't have a good look at it with Plu kind of pulling her towards that baseline. So you dish it to Hall, and a nice job of getting off that shot, and chance for a three-point play.
Well, she misses her opportunity. Plu with a rebound. The foul, by the way, called on Emma Hunter. You saw Hunter and Savannah Hall kind of jockeying for position early in that possession, and eventually ended up going once again to Savannah Hall. So now 45-19, only 4 points scored now in this third quarter. This is much like what we saw last night. They scored 7 in the third and only 3 in the fourth quarter. Here's Hunter. Blue will have it at the high post, looks to give it up, and we've got a foul call from behind, and that'll go against Indian Creek. That's going to be Tudor on the foul. Couple of new players coming in.
More of the same from that first half. Just Indian Creek making it really hard on Greencastle to dribble around them. And then the Tiger Cubs end up picking up the basketball, and they're just looking around for somebody to make a cut and get open, get rid of it. But it's just been hard this entire game for Greencastle.
Kayla Lawler, one of the new players in for Indian Creek. She wears number 2. She's a 5'6" freshman. So now Indian Creek starting to go to their bench here in the third as we come up on 2 minutes. Hunter cut off on the drive, looks to give it up. Here's Plu on the right wing. Good defense again by Indian Creek. Driving baseline, Briones. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay right here.
Tiger Cub number 12, Zoe Doan.
Zoe Doan will come in now for the Tiger Cubs, her first appearance this evening. 26-point lead now for Indian Creek as they will look to go to 6-2 on the season, and what you like as a head coach, you win both games on the weekend. Good look at Zellers. Doan is now at the point. She'll pass off to the left wing, and this will be Emma Hunter. You got to give Indian Creek and their defense credit, because right now Greencastle can't find a shot.
And most possessions from Greencastle have they've ended up in a turnover just like this, or they've ended up in a long, drawn-out possession where Greencastle just can't go anywhere. There's just roadblocks wherever they go, and Indian Creek has made it difficult for them to not only not be able to get off shots, but just not be able to pass within each other.
Yeah, it's really been disruptive, but I like the way that Indian Creek has mixed up their defense. Brian Ferris has done a nice job with them, and that's hard to learn, to do 3 different types of defenses for anybody, but they've done it very well tonight. That was a rebounding foul, I think that was against Savannah Hall.
And even with this large lead, which is now at 26, Indian Creek going to probably sub in some new players and get them experience with the different defenses, like you mentioned, Troy.
Briones the other way, and a missed shot rebounded there by Wiseman. They run the floor well at the other end, bucket good, and that should be Foster, I do believe, getting the bucket. 47-19 as we're under the 50-second mark, and it's been all Indian Creek here in the third. It really shows you how momentum can change so quickly. When you thought Greencastle hit those first couple of shots, and maybe they're back on the run, but they just haven't hit anything since then. It has been a good ball game here on the defensive side for Indian Creek. And you see again where Greencastle just cannot find a good look. This is Briones straight away. 15 seconds. See if they play for one, the double team. Plu will drive, cut off on the right wing, back outside. The three no good by Briones. Will head the other way. Last second attempt. Nice ball movement all the way down the floor. Wiseman lays it in, and that was a clinic right there on breaking any pressure. You'll see it yet one more time as we head the other way. You couldn't get much better than that. That was early in the quarter. We'll take a timeout. We head to the fourth. Indian Creek on top of this one, 49-19. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Well, 8 minutes remaining in this one, and right now it is all Indian Creek on top, 49-19. If you're Greencastle, you're trying to find a positive here to finish out this last quarter of play. It'll be Foster with the basketball now for Indian Creek, and I would venture to say we won't see their starters in for a long time here in this last quarter, but there is an early turnover as the jump ball will go back over now to Greencastle. That is the 12th turnover now for Indian Creek, but they really didn't turn the ball over at all in that third quarter.
No, they didn't, and their ball movement was superb. It was getting it down low. Wiseman had a couple of looks. Grace Hall got involved too. Just moving the ball has been much better in this game from Indian Creek. And already, to start this fourth quarter, we don't see Hall or Wiseman out on the floor. And some of the starters that are still out there, I'm assuming, just like you, Troy, they'll only be out there for a couple of minutes maybe.
By the way, Indian Creek outscored Greencastle 17-4. They went on a 17-0 run in that quarter. The shots missed that time by Audrey Brennan, rebounded by Hunter. And then on the baseline, that is Hunter on the floor, a little shaken up right there. And the official says we will give the basketball to Indian Creek, so that is essentially a turnover again for Greencastle. That'll be turnover number 19 now on the night for the Tiger Cubs. Down court pass and a foul call, and Morales picks up the foul.
Tiger Cubs personal foul, number 35, Stephanie Morales. Shooting two for the Indian Creek Braves, number 21.
Hey, I want to remind you this broadcast is copywritten by Indiana SRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, video, and audio without the express written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. 50-19 your score. We have the boys game following this one, so make sure you hang around. Second free throw is missed as Emily Scott gets one of two. She now has 9. And we have a foul call right here as that will go against Indian Creek. That was Olivia Pendleton on the foul. That is her first.
You mentioned that second game, Troy. The Greencastle boys also looking for their first win this season. They've started 0-2. Indian Creek also winless on the year on the boys' side. They're 0-3, so that could be a crucial game for both of those Western Conference schools.
So you're telling me something has to give tonight.
Something has to give, that's right. And those two teams, of course, know each other very well, being in this Western Indiana Conference.
We have shot a lot of free throws tonight. Brennan there for the first time. She's on the scoreboard now for the Tiger Cubs. We want to remind you that unlike most broadcast companies, our funding comes primarily from donations and school subscriptions. As the second free throw is missed, you can help us put more kids on TV by clicking on the donate button on our webpage on indianasrn.org. We have college football going on today, and a lot of people paying very close attention to what is happening there. We see Alabama's winning. We're going to keep an eye on that great Michigan team coming up a little bit later. Boys and girls high school basketball, college basketball. This is one busy Saturday.
It sure is, and it gets a lot busier now, because especially when you open up these apps or wherever you see the scores, it's just nonstop college basketball games. You could scroll on for hours looking at how many games are usually on. And like you said, you add on high school, you add on that college football still playing, conference championship games going on today.
That's Foster hitting the three.
That great Michigan team.
That great Michigan team.
Those are your guys.
You know, and I was asking you a little bit during the last time out that you were discussing in the hallway a little bit, the overs, the unders, and all of that. I know that you're really big into that. Did you put your money in the right place, or are you kind of
I think
regretting?
So,
okay,
a little bit, and there's still some games pending right now. I hate to go on the side of Alabama, but I actually went against the grain, like most people on that one, and right now they're up 21 last time we checked. So, but really looking forward to the Michigan game tonight at Lucas Oil.
Well, I got to ask you then, before we continue back here, do you go by your gut feeling, or are you a guy that really looks into the numbers? And
it's a little bit of a mix, because some games I'll go with my gut feeling and I'll be completely wrong.
Yeah.
So then I'll go, the next games will be, okay, I'm going to look at the stats, I'm going to look at the trends and see what some of these quote-unquote experts are saying, and sometimes go with that. But it's pretty much a 50-50 toss. I mean, my gut feeling last week was Ohio State was actually going to beat Michigan, but you saw how that turned out. So.
Yeah.
But we're going with Michigan tonight.
Very good. See, that's good, because I have a good feeling about tonight.
It might be a very low-scoring game, unlike some of these games that we've seen so far today. But I think Michigan gets it done.
Back the other way, turnover there for Indian Creek. That'll be the 13th. A good look at Briones. Only 1 point scored in this last quarter thus far. Only 5 overall for Greencastle in the second half. And right now down by 33. The next basket will make it, there's a foul call, will make it the mercy rule in high school basketball, which means that once a team gets up by 35, the clock runs the rest of the way.
Yeah, just like in football, and that was implemented this year for the basketball season.
There's that three by Foster. We're going to head to the free throw line as you see Emma Hunter come back in. Hunter 6 points tonight. Briones leading Greencastle with 8. So I want to remind you, when we're done here, we'll wrap up rather quickly and make all of our adjustments to get ready for the second game, as the free throw is good. That is Ray back at the line.
Indian Creek closing in on this 60-point mark. They put up 60 in their last game against Owen Valley, and pretty much the exact same scenario there. They only gave up 22 to the Patriots of Owen Valley. So right here, Greencastle just with 20 points, Indian Creek getting things done both on offense and defense.
Yeah, not too far away from the 64 they scored at Monrovia. They've been on the road quite a bit this year, as a foul call on the drive by Hunter.
Break personal number 3, Joey Ray back.
I'm going to get Ray back on the foul. So again, boys game will be coming up probably about 20 minutes following the completion of this one. As you see, Emma Hunter will inbound on the sideline. Clue has gotten some big-time minutes here tonight. There's a jump ball call, and the Tiger Cubs will have the basketball, but they do lose the possession arrow. So Georgia picks up this. I'll be curious to see how you'll balance that out in the over and the under the rest of the way. That's the other key right here. We've got a timeout on the floor. It will be a full timeout. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN. Well, Greencastle down 54-20. Troy Niergowski, Jarrett the Money Man Lewis. Found a little secret. I won't share it with anybody unless he allows me to, but I tell you what, this guy's loaded.
Right. Right. That's funny you say that. That's kind of an inside joke between my friends and I. We always, whenever we do stuff together, we always pick on somebody, and we're like, "Oh, he's loaded.
He's loaded.
He'll pay for dinner tonight."
Held ball possession Braves.
And another jump ball right there, so Indian Creek will have the basketball. Well, after I learned your little secret a moment ago, I did see you pull up in your Mercedes, so I'm not really too shocked by that.
Brand new, red.
You red, that's
all
right.
Red Mercedes.
And probably a convertible. The shot missed, and an offensive rebound by Indian Creek. They'll get it back to Pendleton, and another big three.
So that makes the game now 36, over that 35-point mark.
Yep, and there it is. That's a double dribble, if I'm not mistaken. Last time I checked, they don't allow you to do that, so a turnover.
Number 12, Zoe Doan.
See the Greencastle band there, decked out in little Christmas gear. They got the same hats on, some red and green.
Very festive it has been, as we saw last night many times with the two teams in a giving spirit. Tonight, Greencastle's been very giving with those 22 turnovers. I want to remind you again, Christmas music 24/7. The rest of this year, the holiday season upon us, as the turnover each way. Ball is thrown out of bounds after the Tiger Cubs got the 14th turnover on Indian Creek.
You know, the thing about Christmas music is I feel like there's only like 10 songs, 10 Christmas songs, but you can find thousands of them because they're all, this version is sung by this person.
Yeah.
You could find the same song in 20 different versions, sung by 20 different people.
That's a nice move, but a missed layup by Hunter. I think you got a good point. We should research that. There's a turnover. Things getting a little sloppy here late, but the bucket good by Hunter. She has 8. Well, whatever happens is we were doing a game a few nights ago, and all of a sudden I hear this really sour tune in my headset, and it was Keith singing. When they came back, he didn't know they were back from a break.
Yeah, he was. I think I was doing that game with him.
No, it was horrible.
He was singing out of the break. I'm like, Keith, what are you doing?
Please.
Come on, please stop.
He's driving listeners away.
You can sing alone in your car. You don't have to be singing around me.
10 points now by Hunter. 56-22 as both teams have gone to several players on their bench. Indian Creek really the one team right now that has emptied everybody off. New players in the ball game, including mentioned Pendleton a few moments ago. Ball loose on the floor. But again, if you just tuned in, with the mercy rule in high school basketball implemented this year, the clock will continue to run up until a timeout. As we see Audrey Brennan come back in. So we got a timeout on the floor by Greencastle. 1:57 remaining here in the fourth. This is high school basketball on Indiana SRN.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
They just announced the Alabama-Georgia score. Cincinnati winning their contest as well. So right now looks like if Alabama holds on, Cincinnati holds on, there's two of your teams in. I think Georgia still gets in. And then we wait and see if Michigan blows it tonight or they'd be the fourth team.
Yeah, unfortunately, being a Notre Dame fan, you are now rooting for Michigan to lose in their game tonight. Although I wouldn't mind seeing Michigan get in. So it's kind of a in between a rock and a hard place type of situation. But we will see exactly what happens. I think you're exactly right. With Alabama winning, I think Georgia will still stay in that top 4 spot.
Well, a lot can still happen, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. After the jump ball, possession arrow back to Indian Creek.
College football national championship game played in Indianapolis this year as well.
That's great. Big Ten championship tonight in Indianapolis. It's always an advantage living in Indy. You get the Big Ten tournament a lot. You get the football championship and basketball tournaments and stuff. Media days, all that.
Oh, yeah.
This is Hunter as we've gotten under a minute to go. And a foul call. I would have eaten my whistle right there.
It's a tough drive by Hunter, too. She's been the girl for Greencastle that has been the most aggressive. And she's gone to the free throw line a couple times here tonight.
So Hunter at the line. She's in double figures with 11. You see that sign by the player on the bench right there? I wonder what that means. Second free throw is on the way, short, and an offensive rebound by Morales and another foul. Is that a secret code?
It's like SOFO.
SOFO.
I'm sure it's a team motto of some sorts from Coach Greenlee.
Or she's looking at somebody, hey, I need a drink. You know, I don't know what those would mean, but maybe it's a key word. Can you bring me a drink? We're at the free throw line with 48 seconds remaining, and Morales now has 3. Plouffe back into the lineup. So that boys game, both teams looking for their first win, and Jarrett's going to have the call on that one. You'll get expert analysis in that second game. The free throw's on the way and good.
Yeah, they're going to wave it off, actually. It looked like she went over the line just too early.
Rare lane violation called that time by the officials on Greencastle, and we'll run that clock again. Greencastle is going to fall to 0-8 on the season. Indian Creek will move to 6-2. Ball loose on the floor as both teams continue to scrum for the loose ball. Picked up there by Greencastle. Plouffe down in the low block. Draws the double team. Dobbs on the way. Gets it to go.
Good looking shot there by Dobbs. First time we've called her name tonight also.
Reverse layup is going to be missed. We've got a rebound and a foul call. They're going to get number 32 on that one. Indian Creek has really gone deep into their bench. I think it said it was Gracie Meredith wearing number 32. So Morales back to the line. We've seen there was over 20 fouls called in the first half. Right now, unofficially, 15 in the second half. So we've had nearly 40 fouls called in this ball game as that free throw's missed. Ball stripped away. Turnover there for Indian Creek. And that's going to do it. So Indian Creek wins it tonight. They dominate the second half, and really this game got out of hand in that third quarter as Indian Creek will pull away with the victory here tonight. You see one of our final plays of the ball game, that nice entry pass underneath, and that was that three. And that was a great play in that third quarter. So overall, when you look at it, Greencastle got to find a way to improve on offense, and they got to keep the possessions of their own. And when you look at the other side, Indian Creek, I think they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, taking a look at another replay for Indian Creek. They did this a couple of times, getting the ball up the floor quickly. Wiseman, who's really tall, but she can play any spot, it seems. She's going to play down low. She's going to stretch the floor. She's going to dribble the ball up the court, too. She looks like she can do just a little bit of everything for Indian Creek, but it was a team effort tonight from the Braves, no doubt about it. A lot of girls getting into the scoring column. Good passing, good ball movement. Really good look from the Indian Creek Braves here tonight, getting another victory by a wide margin.
All right, thanks for being with us. Your final score once again, Indian Creek beating Greencastle 56-29. Boys action coming up in about 20 minutes. This has been Indiana High School Basketball on Indiana SRN.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time.
to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You're good at basement basketball.
We are good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Mortgage Group. I've been teaching here at Guerin Catholic for 13 years. I've been assistant coach also for 13 years. And I think it's important in today's world that we have young people growing up with the morals and values of faith-based education.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Thompson with Integrity Mortgage Group, and I support Guerin Catholic High School because I'm good friends and business partners with assistant coach Tommy Mascari, and any chance I have to support a Christ-centered education for today's youth, I take advantage of that opportunity and support in any way I can with my time, effort, volunteering, funds, and commercials like these.
Together we soar. Guerin Catholic Sports on Indiana SRN.
Where you're always in the game.
Back again here at Greencastle High School for our second of two tonight from the McAnally Center. And our boys-girls doubleheader between the Tiger Cubs of Greencastle and the Indian Creek Braves. The girls took the first matchup of the two, winning that one easily over the Greencastle Tiger Cubs. And now we get our second game here tonight featuring the boys' side of things. Both teams looking for their first win on the season. Tonight's broadcast is being brought to you by the Morales Group, by Bertner Electric, IUPUI Sports Management, Piper Logistics, and Reynolds Farm Equipment. Along with Troy Daragowski, Jarrett Lewis with you yet again. Troy, we're double-dipping it here tonight. It was a really interesting game. It was close on early between the girls, but Indian Creek just really able to pull away at the end. Too much firepower from them, and now we get to feature two teams here tonight in their early parts of the season, much earlier than the girls' side. Girls basketball, in their 9th, 8th games already in the season. They've really gotten things on a roll on their side, and that's usually how things go. On the boys' side, Indian Creek is 0-3 on the year. Greencastle 0-2, so both these teams looking for their first win on the season, and both teams hailing from the Western Indiana Conference. So for Greencastle, they had a conference game last night against West Vigo. They fell short in that one. Here's another chance on back-to-back nights. They have a full weekend this weekend and trying to get back into the win column for the first time, and you face off with another conference opponent in Indian Creek to try and do so.
Well, and that's unusual in many respects that you play two conference games in a row on a Friday and a Saturday, but that's what they're going to do tonight. And the other aspect about the early portion of the season, this is the first time they play back-to-back. You don't have a whole lot of time to prepare, come in for a film session a little bit and maybe a shoot-around on Saturday morning, and then you got to come back and be ready to play. I always look at that in a couple of different ways. Number one, these kids are young. They don't mind playing back-to-back because it's a lot better than practicing. I found at that coaching 11 years, they don't like to practice. They love to play, and I don't blame them. But you got to come back and now play after a disappointing Friday night. I know when you look at Greencastle, that game started out, looked like it was going to be a high-scoring affair, ended up 44-40 as Greencastle fell short. And then on the other side, as you mentioned, the Braves ended up losing to Owen Valley 59-46. So now the pressure's on a little bit more. You want to come back. You want to finish out your weekend in a positive note, get a conference win, and then get on the winning side for the first time this year.
Yeah, the good thing for Greencastle is they're doing the double dipping this weekend, but as is Indian Creek. They're coming off their loss to Owen Valley, just like how the girls were. And so, both these teams coming off a really short week, not much time to prepare for their conference games. And Indian Creek losing their game to Owen Valley 59-46. Last night we saw Greencastle take on West Vigo. That was a close one to the very end, ending up coming up short 44-40. But the Tiger Cubs are able to get another chance and try and bounce back under the direction of Bryce Rector, who's in his sixth year, an impressive record. Hasn't had a losing season at Greencastle since 2016-2017, and that was Coach Rector's first year at the helm. So he has really gotten this program going in the right direction and trying not to start the season 0-3. Taking a closer look at the Tiger Cubs, a team that really struggles to score the basketball so far, only averaging around 50 points a game. And in their first game against Crawfordsville, they only came away with 32. They lost that one 52-32. Right now being led in scoring by Cole Hutchison, who's a junior, 10.5 points a game. Not too far behind is Kiefer Wilson, a senior, also in double digits at 10 points even. So the upperclassmen for Greencastle, and we saw this last night in their game against West Vigo, they really trying to get the ball down low, and Wilson, who is a big, strong body, a football player who plays both ways, he likes to play down low on the block. Cole Hutchison has some size. They really try to play their game inside and out, and if the inside game is there, they'll take it. But if it's not, they do have some shooters that they can kick it out to.
Well, and they're going to have to shoot well tonight in order to beat the Braves. And when you look at the overall numbers, their numbers aren't really good right now. You have one player, that's Hutchison, that is shooting over 50%. But as a team, they're only shooting 36% and only 23% from three-point range. So they got to find a mark here tonight. And early in the season when you're a head coach, you're trying to find out what your rotation's going to look like. Who's going to be in charge when you need a good play to happen, you need to get some momentum going. There's so many factors early in the season that both these teams are probably just still trying to figure out what's going on, but they've got to shoot the basketball better tonight. And once you listen, I like the three like anybody does, but I think when you're struggling from three-point range, you got to find a way to get some easy baskets, gain some confidence, get some points on the board, and then we'll think about shooting the three.
We'll take our first break. When we come back, a little deeper dive for the visiting team, the Indian Creek Braves. Tip-off getting closer here from the McAnally Center in Greencastle, Indiana. This is Indiana High School basketball, powered by Indiana SRN.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the Indiana SRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Back here at the McAnally Center, Greencastle High School, home of the Tiger Cubs, who are trying to get into the win column for the first time this year, as are the Indian Creek Braves, as you see them there heading back to the bench wearing their road red jerseys. This is a really good shooting team this year so far for Indian Creek. Through 3 games, they shoot 44% from the floor and 46% from 3. So we've talked a lot about the 3, and it's good looking. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes to talk about shooting the 3 ball, and the Braves so far this season do a good job of that. They are led in scoring by Javon Crouch, a senior, 15.5 points a game. Landon Seisting is not too far behind as a freshman with 15 points a game for himself. And also Braxton Christie is up there in double digits with 12 points a game. So kind of a 3-headed monster so far this season for Indian Creek to set them in scoring. They average 60 a game.
Well, and the one thing about it, they're shooting threes well, and they're shooting a lot of them. And you look about when their first, 2 games, they shot over 100. We're talking about 50 per game, and so they really launch up a lot of threes. We didn't see what their numbers were last night against Owen Valley, but if the trend continues, we're talking about 153-pointer attempts in just 3 games, so they really love it. And you'll find that for a lot of teams that shoot the 3, if they don't have a really strong inside presence, and that's going to be a big key tonight, because the one thing that Greencastle has to do, we talked about they got to shoot better, but they don't rebound very well either. They're only averaging 16 rebounds so far in their first 2 games, and you're not going to win many games if you're only getting 16 boards per game.
This is a look at the starting lineup for Indian Creek, and including in that starting lineup, Bryce Armstrong is in there. We mentioned Christie. He's a senior. Javon Crouch also in the starting lineup tonight. And finishing things out for them, Aiden Nethery is in there starting tonight, as is Ethan Garriott. On the other side for Greencastle, we just saw them last night in their game against West Vigo. We'll see if the same starting lineup fares here tonight. It appears to be the case. They went with Tyler Rogers, Kiefer Wilson, Holton Miller, Evan Alexander, and Cole Hutchison as their starting 5 last night. Wilson had 10 points. He was second on the team in scoring. Hutchison finished the night as the leading scorer with 15. So again, we could probably expect to see those two getting involved a lot on the offensive side of things. There's Tyler Rogers, one of the seniors on this ball club, which if you look at their starting lineup, it is 4 seniors and a junior, and that junior being Cole Hutchison, who is number 44, and he's going to be announced last. There's Kiefer Wilson wearing number 12. Greencastle in their home whites tonight. And again, trying to get their first win of this young 2021-2022 campaign.
Well, then neither team has a ton of size. I mean, you've got a couple of guys in the 6'4", 6'3" range, so I'm expecting this game to be played up and down the floor. But I'll go back to what I said a little bit ago. You got to find a way to rebound. If you're Greencastle, got to find a way to shoot that three-point better. And the other thing is, get Wilson involved, get Alexander involved, because neither one of those two players shooting the ball the way we know they can and the way we have seen them do it in the past. They need to really up their numbers here tonight as well.
It'll be Nethery and Hutchison to tip things off in the middle. 8 minutes up on the scoreboard. And our second of 2 tonight from Greencastle High School is underway with the boys. And Greencastle controlling the opening tip.
Well, we saw the girls for Indian Creek play 3 different defenses, and right now Indian Creek opening up in the man.
Kiefer Wilson driving in, getting to that elbow, and not on the same page with Rogers, and that's an early turnover by the Tiger Cubs.
Well, and good pressure defense again. It was, you get your hand out, getting into the passing lane. Sometimes offensively, you're still trying to figure some things out early for the Tiger Cubs.
First offensive possession now for Indian Creek, as a right wing 3 is up from Christie, and it's good, nothing but net. Christie gets the scoring open here.
Well, I'm going to have to anticipate that Greencastle is going to extend that defense a little bit more, get out there on the shooters.
Early on, we're seeing the three-point shooting and how good it has been already for Indian Creek. 46% on the year, and they force another turnover.
Yeah, unforced turnover right there, and you really got to take care of the basketball in a game like this.
We'll kick things out. Thought about a 3 on that right side was Garriott.
See, they a little 4 high and 1 low, so you know they like to play around the perimeter.
Another deep 3 from Christie, and boy, oh boy, Braxton Christie is off to a hot start with all 6 points.
Shot that one from Indianapolis. I mean, he stepped back even a little bit further than he did the first one, so again, you got to extend your defense.
I think the first one was college range, and then the second one he one-upped it, went to the behind the NBA line. Yet to score are the Tiger Cubs, as Rogers has it on the far side. Our first whistle from the referees. It's a reach-in foul going up against Bryce Armstrong.
Yeah, here's that. Here's one of those threes. You know how they really do a nice job just changing position, and nobody switched on the defense to get out in time to really get a good hand in the face of the shooter.
And Hutchison, who's probably not used to being out that deep defensively as a bigger body, wasn't expecting Christie to pull up from that deep, and now we get another foul, this time going against Greencastle. Offensive foul, and the guilty party appears to be Anthony Adams.
Yeah, there's an emphasis each year for the officials to make sure they really do a good job on those moving screens, because you still see so many players that really don't get set. Everything has to be in between their body, and that time it didn't happen for Adams.
Another 3 from Indian Creek. This time they missed. Third time's the charm.
Well, now you know why they shoot so many. They launch it. They don't care.
Wilson, nice spin move. Can't use the glass, and he follows it up with a foul, trying to go after the basketball. And just a empty possession upcoming there for the Tiger Cubs.
Yeah, sometimes on the offense you're not shooting as well as you'd like. You really start to force some things. Still too early for that. Relax, get a good possession next time down.
Catch and shoot on the opposite wing. And guess who? It's Braxton Christie yet again. All 9 points have come from Christie, all 9 via the 3. Anthony Adams, he answers with a 3 that rattles home.
Well, if we keep this up, it'll be 120 to 118 by the time we're done, the way they're shooting the 3.
This has turned into a 3-point shooting contest.
Well, still, if I'm Greencastle, I get out there and force everything beyond the 3-point line and defend that better.
That was Christie again. This time he misses. Adams is trying to go back-to-back, and he does. Anthony Adams is trying to go up against Braxton Christie from downtown.
It's like that old-time NBA at halftime. They play the one-on-one. We'll just get those 2 guys out here.
Off to a good start scoring-wise for both of these teams. Actually, it wasn't a good start, but here in the last minute and a half, it's been threes draining from everywhere.
Yeah, he got his feet set, square to the basket. Defender didn't get out on time. Good shot.
Anthony Adams on the season just averaging 6 points a game, and he's already hit that mark 3 minutes in.
Yeah, I'm still not so sure you don't extend them. Make them drive. I don't think they're comfortable as a driving team, so make them put it on the floor and not let them shoot that shot from 3.
Hutchison right now guarding against Christie, who has the ball on the near side. They get Christie open. This time he steps inside the 3-point line and still knocks it down. Braxton Christie, all 11 points for the Braves.
Love the mid-range jumper. We only saw one in the girls' game. We got one already in the boys' game.
Braxton Christie, third on the team in scoring at 12 points a game. Right now with all 11. But Greencastle hanging right there with him. Here's Hutchison on the drive. Got some body contact, but still is able to finish.
Yeah, I like that. Take it to the basket. Defender came out to play on you, and you beat him to the rim.
Hutchison led Greencastle in scoring last night with 15. We get a foul underneath, and it's going to go against Indian Creek.
Yeah, Rogers had good position on the rebound. He just kind of got pulled out of the way, so that's a good call by the official.
That foul on Bryce Armstrong of the Braves.
You know, the way they were shooting the threes there in such frequency, I thought maybe they erased everything underneath here where you didn't have any two-point baskets. They were no longer allowed.
The floor is lava inside the three-point line. Here's a foul as Rogers drives on the new player who has just checked in. That's Caleb Yount for Indian Creek.
We saw a ton of fouls in that girls' game in the first half. Let them play a little bit more here in the boys' action. So far, not really even a physical game at this point.
Everybody for Greencastle weaving together right now. Adams is on that far side. Driving baseline is Wilson. They'll say blocking foul against Indian Creek, and that is on Christie. Christie, Yount, and Armstrong all with fouls so far for the Braves.
Now you keep going at them. Maybe you can get a couple of these players into foul trouble, but then again you got to take care of the basketball, and that's what didn't happen right there as Wilson not only committed the turnover but picked up the foul.
Speaking of foul trouble, that's the second on Wilson, so he's going to have to sit, and we see the first substitution for Greencastle. Drew Hutchison will check in. Drew, a sophomore, Cole, a junior.
Yeah, if I were looking the other way, I was thinking maybe Greencastle could force some fouls on Indian Creek, try to slow their attack a little bit down, get a couple of guys on the bench.
They dump it down inside, affecting that shot, and batting it away. Here goes Greencastle. Hutchison, the other way, has it stripped. Indian Creek quickly down the floor. Driving in, pulling up with the left hand nicely. That was Javon Crouch, his first 2 points.
Yeah, the first time tonight we saw both teams get up and down the floor in a little fast break action.
Crouch is the leading scorer for the first time. He's in the box score. And Rogers has that shot batted away, but able to get it back. Here he is on another drive and forcing a foul. Indian Creek fans don't like it. And this time, Aiden Nethery gets called.
Well, Netherly says, wait a minute, I have the right to stand straight up and down. I know a lot of players end up bringing their hands down, and the official, once he sees that, he's going to make that call, but it looked like that time Netherly had pretty good position.
Rogers will head to the free throw line, and he comes up empty on the first. This broadcast is copyrighted by Indiana SRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, video, and audio without the express written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. Rogers follows up with a make on the second free throw, and it's a 4-point advantage right now for Indian Creek.
You've slowed Indian Creek down a little bit on the threes. You've noticed they've really kind of extended that defense even more, though they pick up the foul there. They've taken one extra step. Make sure you get a hand in the face. Make sure that you challenge that shot. Don't give Indian Creek any open looks.
And as the defense steps out on Crouch, he beats his man off the dribble and forces that foul called on the Tiger Cubs.
Yeah, get out. You got to play good defense. A lot of players today play with their hands. You got to play with your feet.
And you can see as each player receives the basketball, the Tiger Cubs hedge out, and they're immediately getting their hands up to affect a potential shot. And here's another foul called on Greencastle. This one on Adams, I believe, and that might be number 2 on him.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't think it was bad defense. One thing about it is you got to move your feet, and you cannot let your arms go out to try to stop the guy who with the basketball penetrating. You really got to get your hands up, and they don't do that very much.
Actually, that foul is on Hutchison. Drew, that is, and here's a basket. Another one for Braxton Christie, who has 13 of the 15 so far to start this ball game.
Well, on average, he'll get over 40 tonight. Nice give and go.
Great pass. Those are the Hutchison brothers working together. Drew hits Cole, and Cole now with 4.
Yeah, you don't think they met eyes and said, hey, listen, we got a little give and go right here, and they played together probably for many years, and you kind of get to know each other really well.
High-scoring affair in this opening quarter. With a minute 45 left to play, Christie pulls up yet again. Braxton Christie 4 made threes in this first quarter.
He is unstoppable, and I tell you what, right now, very comfortable in this gym. It's a great shooting gym and good lighting, and he's got a stroke going early.
16 points to begin this one for Braxton Christie, a senior. Here's a foul as Hutchison got it, and I think this one's on Christie, which would make number 2.
Yeah, that'll be number 2 on your hot shooter. And here's this last 3. Look how deep he is. He really sizes up what's available to him, and he's 4 feet, 5 feet behind the line right there. That's amazing.
Coach Rector definitely in this next timeout, which may be at the quarter break, is going to say we have to get out on Christie. We have to get out on all these guys because it appears there's multiple players for Indian Creek that can step out and shoot it from deep.
Well, that was an offensive foul called. You have the screener, and then he ends up hooking, and I didn't see who it was, but he ends up hooking the defender. And the one thing you can't do is you can't do that. Get your hands out there. You got to be within the body, and the hands have to be within you as well. And that'll be 4 turnovers now in Greencastle.
Corner 3 is no good from Crouch. Tipped around, and Adams is able to track it. A minute left to play for the Tiger Cubs. Rogers drives in. Off-balance shot. It's tipped out, last touched by the Braves.
Really, you look at that play that time by Rogers. You know, we mentioned a little bit earlier about trying to pull up a little mid-range jumper. You know, size up that defender, see if he's going to back up on you, and you don't really have to take it all the way in. Pull up from 12, 13 feet. Use that backboard if you have to, but use that mid-range jumper.
Greencastle gets it in. New player is checked in. That's Jacob Simmerin, and there's another turnover committed by Greencastle. Indian Creek may have just gave it right back, and they do.
Yeah, they do back-to-back turnovers each way. Yeah, and you look at the bench right there for the Tiger Cubs, and Coach Rector says, you know, slow it down a little bit. We really don't want to get in too much of a running game right here. If it's available, we'll take it, but other than that, don't force it.
See if Greencastle opts to hold for one last shot as the seconds continue to tick away. That just might be the case as Greencastle works it around the perimeter, nearly a steal by Crouch as he steps out on Miller. Holton Miller also just checked in to finish out this first quarter.
Yeah, Miller's way out there in no man's land. That's a place he doesn't want to be handling the basketball.
Hutchison might be the guy, and his shot is deflected. 3 seconds left for Indian Creek. Getting a shot off a running 3, kind of lackadaisical as it goes in and out. That last shot by Nethery, not sure if it was going to count anyways, but a solid first quarter. 18-11 the lead for Indian Creek, and 16 of those points to Braxton Christie. A hot first quarter for him. Second quarter upcoming here on Indiana SRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
Back at the McAnally Center, Greencastle High School, the Tiger Cubs trailing early to the visiting Indian Creek Braves, a Western Indiana Conference matchup between these two. And back-to-back conference games for Greencastle after losing on this very floor last night to West Vigo 44-40. This one appears to be a much high-scoring game than last night's.
Well, can Christie keep it up, number one? Listen, let's be honest about it. He's a great player and a great shooter, but if you're Greencastle, you're thinking he's not going to be able to keep up this pace. And by the way, he's out of the ball game, at least from what I can see right now, as they go a little 1-4 low. But if you can stop him and get him out of the ball game and not let him shoot that well, you're right back in this thing.
Indian Creek averages 55 points per game, but they give up a massive number to their opponents at 70 points a game. I don't know about you. I don't expect Greencastle to put up 70, although it would be nice for Greencastle's sake to kind of hold Indian Creek to under that 55-point mark that they average on the season.
Well, you ended up going to Franklin, and that's a tough place to play. I've taken a team or two there, and it's just a really tough environment. They gave up 72 there. Edinburgh, a smaller team at 1A level, but they put up 80 against them. So defensively, I don't think that Indian Creek is very happy. So I'm sure they worked on a lot of defense in the last couple of games.
Low-scoring games have really been the case for Greencastle to start this season for both boys and girls. The Tiger Cubs average just 35 points scoring. Hutchison can't add to their mark at the moment in the long rebound out to Indian Creek. Trent Voles got that board as he checked in, and he dishes off to Crouch, who knocks down his first three, and he's at 5 points.
Now you know why they average so many three-point attempts per game, because they'll come down and they will launch it. And so, again, the challenge is, can you get out and defend all those three-point shooters?
Ball out of bounds, last touched by Indian Creek. Back in for the Tiger Cubs is Anthony Adams. Back to this kind of a mini fast break from Indian Creek.
Well, they know where their shooters are, and they set up on both wings, and if you don't get out and defend and find your man back on defense, they're going to get some pretty good looks. So Greencastle's got to get back quicker, find your man, identify where your shooters are.
So far, the largest deficit for Greencastle right now at 10. Hutchison can't get the runner to go as the ball's tipped around and ends up into the arms of Indian Creek.
Hutchison on that last play, he kind of turned his head like he was going to pass.
Crouch again. The lefty is liking that side of the floor. Back-to-back threes for the senior.
Now, hey, listen, Christie's not shooting right now, so you get Crouch to do the work.
Between Crouch and Christie, they have 6 made threes already. Down the floor, this time Crouch beats the defense, and that has to force Coach Rector to call a timeout. Greencastle all of a sudden is trailed by 13, 24-11. Is our score. We'll take a break. Another look at this three from Crouch. He extends the Indian Creek lead to 13.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of Indiana SRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know Indiana SRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? Indiana SRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's Indiana SRN.
A quick timeout, just a minute and 54 seconds in, called by Coach Rector of Greencastle, as Javon Crouch has started off the second quarter with 8 quick points.
Yeah, in the 8-0 run, and you look back at that last play, and Coach Rector can't be happy. You got beat back on defense, and one thing you could always do is hustle back and get in position, and they just didn't do it. But a great baseball pass at the other end.
So actually the lead is 15 for Indian Creek. All 8 points in the second quarter coming from Crouch. Greencastle can't answer. That three way off. Wilson, though, corrals the O board. Hutchison drives in. We get a whistle as he got to the free throw line. And with that foul, that's 7 on Indian Creek. Hutchison will have 1 and 1, as will Greencastle for the rest of the quarter.
You know, I'm going to go back to that shot by Miller. Listen, he had a good look, but you really got to know whether that's a good shot as a player or not in that situation. I don't know that he's the guy that you want shooting your three-pointers. He's more of a guy that you probably have down around the block area. But, you know, when you're down by 14 now, you really got to be more selective in your shooting.
Hutchison goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He has 6 points, as does Adams.
You know, last night on our broadcast, the one thing that Coach told me about you is once the ball got in your hands, nobody ever saw it again. So, you know, we got to kind of get an idea who has that same mentality here.
That's funny because Coach makes fun of me for not having a good jump shot, and now he's saying, oh, I don't share the basketball. What's up with,
Well, he claims you never had an assist in your life, so I don't know if maybe he's exaggerating a little bit or.
I'm going to say he is.
Okay.
The other way, a steal. Can't finish, though, is Crouch.
Yeah, Crouch played the defender. You got to play the basket. Don't worry about whether the guy's going to block your shot or not.
Yeah, it looked like Crouch had plenty of room to take it all the way. I think he was expecting some more contact. Cutting into the lane is Miller. A chance for a three-point play. Holton Miller beat his man on the back cut. And the man he got behind was Carter Modlin, who has checked into the second quarter.
Well, I like that better from Miller. He's more comfortable, I think, around the basket. Took it very strong, and now he had a chance to complete the three-point play. I think it's more of his game.
Through 2 games, Miller just a point and a half each contest, but does complete the three-point play. And the lead cut back to 11. A whistle on the baseline, an illegal screen called against the Braves, and a quick turnover.
I think they got Modlin, and he was one of the, again, we talk about that's the emphasis. You got to be set. You got to be within your body. We've seen too many players, with their elbows out, their knees extended out. You got to be straight up and down, and you've got to hold the position. You can't be moving, and they got him again.
Greencastle trails by 10 with 4.5 left to go. In the corner, Adams. Can't hit this time. Wilson with a nice offensive rebound, but falling away from the basket. Can't get it to go. Coach Rector looking for a stop again from his Tiger Cubs team.
Yeah, they run a really good motion offense, but everything they're running is really a 4-1 low because you got those 4 perimeter guys, and sometimes as a defense, that's hard to guard.
Off-balance shot, nearly gets tripped up, was Trent Voles, but still the Braves keep the possession.
Yeah, Hutchison had that little tip out. He was hoping maybe one of his guards would be there, and unfortunately went back to Indian Creek.
Cutting down the baseline, Hutchison tips it away to himself and gets the steal.
Third turnover now for Indian Creek.
Wilson up the floor, high post. Nice ball movement here from the Tiger Cubs. Adams, Euro step into the lane, falls down. Sees an offensive rebound by Miller, who gets fouled.
Yeah, I really thought that first one, the drive, was the foul because there was a lot of contact on the way to the basket, but it all worked out for Greencastle with Miller going back to the line as he hustled after the loose basketball. And those are the kind of plays that can get you back into a ball game and give your team a little more confidence and certainly the ability to think, hey, listen, we can do this and get this thing under 10 before halftime.
Miller now 1 of 2 on his free throws. Here's another look at the...
See, I thought that was a foul right there.
Adams was the one that hit the deck.
Looked like to me Modlin was the one who kind of moved under. You can't move under the guy while he's airborne like that as the second free throw's missed. You really got to keep your position underneath.
Miller goes over at the free throw line. Crouch trying to get around the defender, and he does. Working on Rogers, stayed patient, and was rewarded with a bucket. That's now 10 second quarter points for Javon Crouch.
Yeah, Crouch and Christie, the CC show going on tonight, and Crouch, you didn't have Christie in the ball game, didn't matter.
Crouch sneaks in and steals it away from Miller, but called for the travel is Ethan Gary of Indian Creek.
Second time tonight we've seen a team get a steal. There's a turnover there. You come back, you get down the floor, you turn it over there, and so really it kind of negates each other, but you really got to cut back on those turnovers. The possession of the basketball, that thing is gold. You can only do good things when it's in your hands.
Wilson met at the volleyball line by Caleb Yount. Nice pass down low. Rogers underneath gets it to go. Great assist. Go there to Kiefer Wilson.
Did a nice job with that reverse layup, knowing he could use the rim and the backboard as part of the protection to keep that defender away from blocking his shot.
Oh, Crouch falls down, and Wilson takes it away but loses the handle on it. Could have been a golden attempt there for Greencastle to make it below double digits, but Wilson kind of fumbling the basketball around.
So you had the 5th turnover by Indian Creek, and no fault certainly of Crouch trying to come off that screen, and he just tripped and fell. But then you got to get the ball back the other way. I would think get it back to the middle of the floor if you can. Unfortunately, 8 turnovers now for Greencastle.
Closing in on the 2-minute warning of this first half. With Indian Creek, they've been able to score 10 points so far in this second quarter. Came away with 18 to open things up. Crouch's shot is blocked by Wilson. And the official steps in and says last touch by Indian Creek.
That was a great hustle, though, by Brandon Netherly there on the sideline. Just keep the ball alive, give Indian Creek another opportunity to perhaps get a shot.
Rogers into the lane. We get a whistle. It's a kicked ball going against Indian Creek. To become an IHSAA official, you can contact the IHSAA office, get involved with the men and women behind the stripes. A great way to stay in shape, make a little extra money. IHSAA.org/officials. That shot goes down for Cole Hutchison as he kind of steps out and nails the elbow jumper.
Well, that was a really nice designed inbound play. Quick hitter out front and just tap that ball back inside, and Hutchison made the nice turnaround jumper. Good play.
They kick things back out. Another catch and shoot shot from Crouch. The long rebound to Adams, but he has a double team that comes to him, and there's a turnover by Greencastle.
Yeah, that'll be number 9 again. Take care of the basketball. And I tell you what, Coach Rector has every reason to be upset simply because Anthony Adams, you kind of see his motion, and you got to be strong with the basketball because you know there are hands everywhere, people trying to steal the ball, and you got to be strong with it. Get those elbows out. You don't need to swing them, but you got to protect the basketball, and that's why now they have 9 turnovers.
Crouch, first free throw rims out as he goes to the line for the first time back.
Yeah, watch this right here. You're not strong with a ball like that right there. You have double team. You got to plant your feet, get that ball in there strong, and he didn't do it.
And you can see the reaction also from Coach Rector.
Yeah. Well, that'll drive a coach nuts, and we call those unforced errors, which it really was when you know that it was a thing that you could really control yourself and you didn't do it.
Hutchison in the corner, can't connect. And Indian Creek quickly going the other way. This is Garriott. Gets things back. He'll try a 3. Left it short, can't get the lucky bounce. Now under a minute left to go for the Tiger Cubs.
He wanted to get into the act as well. Crouch and Christie both with a hot hand. And those two guys, other than, nobody else has scored for them so far tonight. It's really those two, and they want to get somebody else involved in the offense.
Garriott tips this one out of bounds. So the Tiger Cubs will keep it. Unlike most broadcast companies, our funding comes primarily from donations and school subscriptions. Help us put more kids on TV. Click the donate button on our webpage at indianasrn.org or get a hold of the coach, Keith Myers, coach at indianasrn.org.
Indian Creek does a lot of switching in their guards out front, and they allow Netherly and the other players to really try to guard down in the paint as that ball goes out of bounds. And that's why right now Greencastle's having a difficult time finding a shot, and when they drive, there's 3 guys waiting for them, so they got to find somebody on the 2 wings to dish to find an open shot.
Tiger Cubs to inbound. Wilson with a nice cut towards the basket.
I'll tell you what, Greencastle, those 2 plays, give a lot of credit to Coach Rector because he's designed a couple of inbound plays that are quick hitters, and they inbound to score, not just to put the ball in play.
First points of this contest for Kiefer Wilson. He had 10 last night. Greencastle trails by 7, but Indian Creek with 5 seconds left to go to add on to it. A drive-in by Garriott, in and out, tipped out of bounds, and it'll go towards the Tiger Cubs.
I feel really good right now because bottom line is if I'm Greencastle, the psychological side is I got it under 10 before halftime.
Rogers goes the length of a football field, throwing it like a quarterback, and it hits the backboard, and that's the end of the first half. Greencastle not going away quietly. They trailed by as much as 14 points. And right now they down 7 at the halftime. 29-22 is our halftime score with Indian Creek on top. 16 points in that first quarter from Braxton Christie, but we did not see anything else from him in that second quarter. It was more of Javon Crouch, who right now has 13 for the Braves. So him and Christie combined have all 29 points for Indian Creek. How about that?
Well, Christie got into that foul trouble. He picked up his second foul, and they knew they had to bring him out of the ball game. And then you really felt good about Crouch, because when Crouch started that left-hand trigger going, he was unstoppable as well. So you kind of think, okay, we lost Christie, but we really had Crouch involved in the offense as well. But to your point, they're going to have to find somebody else, because if Crouch and Christie end up slumping the rest of the way and don't shoot well, then who else is going to step up for them in offense? But on the other side still, Greencastle could have folded right there. They fell down, as you said, by 14, and things were not looking good, but they fought back and they really played even in that quarter and got that thing under 10, because when you go into the locker room, you can say, hey, we're only down by 7. We're still in this ball game. Play it into the fourth quarter.
A whole second half left to play, and the Tiger Cubs only trail by 7, 29-22. Led in scoring at the moment by Cole Hutchison with 8. Anthony Adams adds 6 for the Tiger Cubs. We now enter in our halftime period. Stay tuned for our halftime report and for the second half of play from Greencastle High School. It's Indiana High School basketball on Indiana SRN.
Piper Group Warehouse has a strong commitment to their clients as their logistics provider. If you would like to discover how you can improve your service levels while lowering your overall cost, Piper Logistics Group can help. Call Greg Piper today at 317-396-3916. Piper Logistics Group.
There's no greater anti-poverty measure than to give a person a job. That helps them start to change that trajectory.
Morales Group is a full-service staffing company that provides temporary labor in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana market.
It was a challenge that was given by my father. He wanted me to give back much more than I had been. Then I realized that when he said more, he wanted me to see how I could give more. And it wasn't just in money, but in time and in services. And that's how the Morales Group was created.
I started off at Morales Group as an intern. I interned for 3 years before going on full-time staff here. What I love most about Morales Group is that big family aspect. I come from a big family in Mexico, and since the company is continuously growing, I feel like there's always a new member of the family that I get to know.
We're willing to give. We're willing to serve others, and we're not expecting something in return.
Come talk to us. We would love to work with you.
I'm Sean Branch, and I am entering my 6th year of teaching 6th grade Math, Science, Bible here at Greenwood Christian Academy. I think every teacher in the world wants to have an impactful relationship with each of his or her students. Here at GCA, I get to know these kids. I get to have an impact on their lives because I know what they're interested in, I know what they're passionate about, I understand what they're dealing with and where they're coming from. I've had relationships and communications with their parents, and so I'm able to speak life into them in and out of the classroom, which is a real blessing. As a former student athlete myself, I never thought I would be able to use that part of my journey to impact so many people's lives, but now here at GCA as a coach, I can take my knowledge of sport and use it as a ministry to help these young people.
Learn the story.
Love the story.
Live the story.
Hi, my name is Chris Cross, and for the last 6 years I have taught elementary at GCA, and I'm currently transitioning into an administrative role. Fourth grade students are often struggling with who they are and how they relate to others. Being an elementary teacher, I have been able to speak God's truth into the lives of students just in an everyday manner. Just for example of tattling or gossiping and going into God's Word and saying, how does this Word, God's Word, speak into this relationship? How do we use it? What do we do? And the greatest thing is that I've seen those kids take those pieces of information, put them into practice, and also teach their other fellow students. Out at recess, I've heard them say, well, what do you think God would say about this? And to me, that's the greatest thing that can happen here.
Your hauling or moving project has arrived, and College Hunks Hauling, Junk, and Moving has you covered. Honest. Uniformed. Nice. Knowledgeable. Service. College Hunks Hauling, Junk, and Moving.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Back here at the McAnally Center, Greencastle trailing 29-22. Both teams looking for their first win on this young season. And right now the Braves, with just two guys making up the 29 points, lead it. There's your score there, 29-22 at the half, along with Troy Daragowski. Jarrett Lewis with you here on Indiana SRN. 16 points for Braxton Christie, all in the first quarter. 13 points for Javon Crouch. And 11 of those came in the second quarter. Those two seniors leading the way for the Braves. This three-point shooting barrage, it kind of died down a little bit in that second quarter. We just saw the 2 threes made by Crouch. And for Greencastle, they have 2 made threes of their own, both coming from the freshman Anthony Adams. But I still expect we can see some more driving, kicking out, guys knocking down threes.
Well, and you can tell the Indian Creek offense is designed to get threes, and because they have confidence in guys like Christie and Crouch who can not only shoot them, but make them. And there's a big difference between the two, so they shoot with great confidence. And I thought that Greencastle did a nice job adjusting a little bit more on defense. They knew they were going to have to extend maybe a foot, maybe a little bit more, get out on those shooters. As I said earlier, get a hand in the face and try to force them to put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. That's one of the best ways you can stop a team from shooting all those threes, is make them a driver instead of a shooter, and it seemed to work. And it was good that Greencastle got back into this ball game, because they could have gotten blown out in the first half. Things were getting out of control, but they did a good job working themselves back into it.
Meanwhile, Greencastle has 5 different scorers. They're led in scoring at the moment by the junior Cole Hutchison, who has 8. Anthony Adams, those 2 threes we mentioned, that makes up all 6 of his points. And then 3 points each from Holton Miller and Tyler Rogers. Kiefer Wilson awfully quiet in that first half with just 2 points. But he also has 2 fouls, something to make note of for the duration of this game. He's the only one really in foul trouble for Greencastle. So kind of a different ball game, different game plan between these two teams. Indian Creek with the 2 leading scorers, like we said, in Christie and Crouch, and they rely more heavily on the three-pointer. But Greencastle still really early in this season are trying to find their identity, I believe, and they're not a high-scoring team. They're just at 36 points a game so far through 2 contests, and they don't really have a lead man, as Hutchison and Wilson are both averaging 10 on the year.
Well, yeah, and they do have to find an identity. What kind of team do they want to be? Do they want to be that three-point shooting team? Do they want to run? Are they going to try to press? What are some of the things they're going to try to do? And Coach Rector, along with his players, trying to figure out what is the best system they could put together.
Coach Rector in his 6th year, a very nice 82-45 overall record. On the other side, Drew Glenser is in his 5th year, so both these coaches 5 years or more at their respective schools. Glenser's record at 57-42. Last year, the greatest season that Coach Rector has had with the Tiger Cubs, as that 3 is banged in by Ethan Garriott, his first points, and the first points we've seen from someone not named Christie or Crouch.
Yeah, banked it off the glass, which is always a great thing to do. People make fun of it, but I think that's why it's there. You're supposed to use it that way, but they continue to shoot the ball well from the outside.
Tiger Cubs again trail by double digits right now at 10. Going back, talking about Greencastle last year, finished 21-7 sectional champions. Ended up falling to Gearin Catholic in the regional. Very good Gearin Catholic team usually. Both these schools at the 3A class level.
You know, I really like this Indian Creek defense. If you watch the rotation and everything they do, they always seem to have somebody covered up all over the floor.
And there's a turnover committed by Greencastle. Indian Creek nearly gets it back. But here's Crouch in the short corner. No good on that shot. Offensive rebound. That was Armstrong getting on the floor. And now Coach Glenser setting up the offense for Indian Creek.
Yeah, running a little flex right here so you can get an open man out front if you can get that good screen.
Back screen down low on the baseline. Gets tipped around, and Indian Creek is lucky to get it back. Crouch drives in and draws a foul.
You know, when you run that flex offense, you're screening down, you're screening across. It's really a very basic offense when you really get down to it as you see the replay. But the one thing, that was the 3. But the one thing about the flex is you're always moving. And you don't let that defense rest a moment, even though they generally know where you're going. It's not always an easy thing to guard. You don't see a lot of teams running it, but you saw it right there from Indian Creek. Crouch
hits the first free throw. Second one also good. He's got 15. 12-point advantage for the Braves.
Yeah, you run that flex again, you get tired of chasing all the time, and it really gets monotonous for the defense.
Adams in the corner. It hangs on the rim for a while. It ends up dropping for Adams. Three-pointer number 3.
Yeah, good shooter's touch that time by Adams. Got the feet set. Really got a good look at the basket from the wing.
Adams really loves the corner in the first half, going from right to left where the Braves are headed. He made both of his threes in the near corner. That shot goes good for Bryce Armstrong, his first score.
Yeah, so other guys now getting involved in the offense here for the Braves.
Starting off this third quarter, Armstrong and Garriott with their first points. And Crouch has also added the 2 free throws. They try to find Hutchison down low in a tight window, and he got fouled. The bump came from Aiden Nethery.
You know, we didn't talk early and really didn't think much about it without Landon Seasting. We don't know why he's not playing for Indian Creek tonight. Their leading scorer through 2 games, but they haven't seemed to miss him so far from the offensive end.
Just a freshman also is Seasting, as that 3 from Adams this time no good. On the other end, another lefty. This is Crouch. Crouch's 3 is no good.
Hey, great job that time by Miller, playing strong and just ripped that rebound away from an Indian Creek player.
So Crouch has 2 made threes. Adams, the lefty for Greencastle, he puts up another one, and that's number 4 for Anthony Adams. All 12 of his points have come from downtown Greencastle.
Boy, shooters touch. Those guys that can really step out there and stroke it when they start feeling it, keep giving it to them. Yeah, look at this Greencastle defense. They're out, hands are up, challenging any shot, and there's no way that you can get a good look if you can get up there and really challenge well. Look at this.
Nice cross-court pass, too, from Wilson.
You know, the one thing about it, he's a left-hander. Those guys are different. You know, they just live in a different world than everybody else. At least that's what I've heard.
They just do everything weird.
Yeah, different. Yeah, always from the left side. I don't get it.
Why not the right side? There's nothing wrong with the right side, right? Timeout on the floor called by Indian Creek. It's just a 30-second timeout, so the players will stand up and get a quick talking to. We can match you with the right career or hire the right candidate for your company. But we do so much more than that at the Morales Group. Let us help you today. Contact the Morales Group, 317-472-7600.
Yeah, by the way, I was going to mention real quick as you see this shot again, this time from the right side. I got a nice touch. Left-handed people, I was told this because my color analyst I had for many years was left-handed. And I kept saying, what is it about you guys? We're just different. They don't have another explanation. There's very few of them. Probably they're going out like the dinosaur and the redheads. You know, there's only 2% of us redheads left. He just said, we're just different, that's all. So I just accepted it for all those years.
That is an interesting thing to think about. How exactly do you choose which hand you use?
Yeah.
Because the majority of people are right-handed.
Exactly.
So does everybody come out right-handed and then the parents are just like, no, we're going to tape this arm down to your side. You cannot use it until you are this age. So you will start off your early years only using your left hand.
Have you ever, seen, we'll get back to basketball here in a minute, have you ever seen a left-handed person writing?
It's hard to look at.
Yeah, isn't it? And they go over the top like this.
Oh, I feel so bad for them.
That's why they shoot so well. They got that wrist action.
I will say, though, in baseball, seeing a left-handed pitcher, a left-handed hitter, everything just looks so much smoother and sweeter.
Doesn't it?
Like, that's the one thing I'm jealous about as far as lefties go.
Yeah,
here's a lefty
good.
in Crouch. He makes both of his free throws.
I'd love to be a left-handed pitcher. Boy, the money I could be making right now.
Oh, yeah.
Even at my age.
Kershaw, Chris Sale.
Oh, man.
There's some good ones. Crouch from the free throw line is 5 of 6, and he now has 17 points. Hutchison can't get that one to go.
Well, if he'd have thrown that in the corner, he had Adams wide open. Got to be able to recognize when your shooters are open instead of taking a tough shot.
Crouch drives in and kicks out. Driving baseline, a wild shot goes up and can't get it to go. That was Garriott.
Well, that time in Garriott's defense, he had nobody on the wing.
Wilson again with a cross-court pass into that corner. And this time, Tyler Rogers bangs a three. And a quick turnover also committed by Indian Creek.
Well, that's 6 now, and all of a sudden you look at that scoreboard and it's a 7-point ball game. You creep back in a little bit more every time. Got another big bucket just a little bit ago from Rogers, and they're now hitting that outside shot, which they weren't in their first couple of games.
9 points scored in this third quarter by Greencastle, all of them via the three-point shot. Rogers has 1, Adams with 2. As a team, 5 made threes in the game for Greencastle. Adams thinking about another one, and he knew from the get-go that it was going to be off, and Hutchison stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, he didn't really get his feet set that time to get good lift on the basketball, but you're going to take a look at this one right here. Yeah, that was a nice shot deep in the corner, but if you're going to shoot that ball, and sometimes you're thinking, all right, I've got a shot here, but you don't get yourself set, get yourself within your body, and that's why he missed that last shot. Other than that, not bad.
Give credit to Kiefer Wilson with another assist. He's got a handful of those. Wilson only 2 points tonight, but dishing things out to his teammates. Cutting nicely, wrapping it around the screen at the free throw line. That was Crouch, who drove in and no one stepped in his way.
Yeah, Crouch decided, I've shot enough threes, time to get to the basket, get a 2-point bucket.
Zone defense now from Indian Creek. They find Hutchison down low. Getting behind the defense, Cole Hutchison is into double digits with 10.
That hasn't happened much tonight to this Indian Creek defense. They've really done a nice job not only in the perimeter but guarding those guys underneath, so a rare mistake on defense.
This time they set up Crouch for a three-point look. It's off the front iron, and Holton Miller with the board.
Right back in. It's still 7 points with 2 minutes to go. Get a bucket here. All of a sudden a little bit tighter now for Indian Creek. They've gone into a little 1-3-1 right now.
Adams throws it to Wilson, who cut towards the middle of the court nicely. And a reach-in foul going against Indian Creek. That's Armstrong.
You know, if you're going to play that 1-3-1, you're going to leave an open hole, and we saw that because the pass went where we're not going to see it here. When the pass went to that wing, all your defenders look this way, and you got to keep your head. Oh, that's a bad shot. You got to keep your head on a swivel and keep one eye on the ball and one guy on the cutter, one eye on the cutter. Otherwise, that guy will make that nice play down the lane. But you got to hit the free throw.
Wilson did airball the free throw, and he actually got a couple of laughs from the Greencastle bench.
Well, I bet Coach Rector's not laughing because he missed both of them.
Unable to follow up with a make on the second. Wilson still sits at 2 points. Here's a three. That's Christie. And again, Braxton Christie, a quiet second quarter, but he went off in quarter number one. He has 19 now.
Well, that was a rainbow shot, though. Our camera didn't even get all the way up there.
5 made threes for Braxton Christie. This is a team that shoots 46% from beyond the arc. And Troy, I think they're right at that mark. They may be at 50% or more.
Yeah, they're really surprising the way how deep they shoot. Look at that. Yeah, see, that went up above camera range right there. And then you go back to the other end, and Christie didn't like that call, and I'm sure for the head coach for the Braves, Derek Perry, he didn't like that call either. He didn't think that was a foul.
Wilson has his pocket picked by Armstrong.
12 turnovers now by Greencastle.
Christie again. Yes! 6 made threes for Braxton Christie. It's a coming out party for the senior.
But if you're Greencastle, that's the last thing you wanted to happen because all of a sudden now it's back up to 13.
Braxton Christie has 22. Adams drives in. Blocking foul called against Indian Creek.
You know, that's always a tough call for high school basketball referees because you don't have the arc to work with underneath to see if that defender is above the line or is he below the line. Take a look at this. Look at that. Stroke it.
Well, that ball was in the air for about 2 seconds. It was up there.
He really has a high arc on that shot. But overall, a good call by the official, but that's one of the tough ones because your eyes have to be not only on the defender, where the player is driving the basketball, and it really helps if they put that arc in there. Adams missed the first one. He'll get one more.
So Christie on the season coming in was 33% from the floor, and from three-point range, he's 44%. Troy, he was just 4 of 9 through 3 games coming into this one, and he has 6 made in this game right here.
Yeah, you're right. His coming out party for sure, and once you get those shooters stroking it, they really start to feel good.
That three almost banked in for Indian Creek. For the first time tonight, we're seeing Jackson Wise into the ball game. Another turnover committed by Greencastle, and they give it right back.
That is 4 times where we've seen one team turn it over. They get the steal, they come back, they turn it over 4 times. Very rare you see that happen that much.
Crouch, another player that has been knocking down threes. He has 2 tonight, was 5 of 9 entering tonight's game.
Boy, take care of that ball. A lot of hands-on out there, too. Indian Creek starting to get a little more aggressive on defense. They went back to the man-to-man. They got out of that zone.
Adams with another drive. He started off shooting from deep, and now here of late, Anthony Adams, the freshman, has been trying to take things to the rack.
Well, I tell you what, you don't see many freshmen playing the way he is playing tonight, and he's really stepped up big in this third quarter, hit those 2 big threes, as you've alluded to, and not afraid to put the ball on the floor and take it to the basket. But now you got to hit the free throws in a game like this because you're still down by 12. Want to get this thing if you can. You won't get it to 10 here, but you want to get at least one more, make it 11.
Right now, Greencastle is 4 of 10, make it 5 of 11 as Adams hits the second. 3-quarter court heave from Indian Creek, and it's just to the left off the backboard. Another great quarter from the Braves. They're holding on to this lead, which is now at 11. 46-35 our score entering the final quarter on Indiana SRN.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present
but respectful of history.
Sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger. It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Indian Creek outscores Greencastle in that third quarter, 17-13. But this is the quarter that you're going to want to win. If you win any of them for the Tiger Cubs, make it this quarter right here, right now, trailing 11.
Well, you go back to that third quarter when Braxton Christie hit those 2 threes. You kind of felt a little bit of the air come out of the balloon that time for the Tiger Cubs, because you thought they were right, and they were 7 points down, and it ballooned back to double figures just like that. So now keep their composure. They're going to play a little zone right here.
Extended 2-3 here for Greencastle, and it forces a turnover. Crouch gets called for the traveling.
Well, Indian Creek wasn't expecting that. Generally, you don't see you come out and play that aggressive of a 2-3 zone, but you're right. They extended that way out there, and we saw that in the second quarter. Only more of a man-to-man try to get out and cover those shooters.
Tiger Cubs looking to cut into this deficit as Hutchison gets into the lane. They call him for a travel. Greencastle side doesn't agree with it. Coach Rector looking for an explanation.
Yeah, that's a tough call right there, and I know the official had a better angle than we did. Coach Rector wanting to know where that extra step came from, but I thought he did a nice jump stop, come through like he was supposed to, but a tough turnover. That's number 14.
Gives it right back to Indian Creek, who are trying to beat this new look defensively. A good start with another 3 from Christie, although it's a miss. It's tipped around a couple of times, and Garriott keeps it in.
Great hustle.
Down low to Crouch, reach and foul on either Rogers or Miller.
You know, and you look at Miller, and I know he's upset about that call, but the one thing about it is you can't be handsy. You extend those hands and you put your hands on another player, you're going to get called for a foul more often than not. They really want to crack down on the hand checks and things like that, as that's a turnover, because too many times players aren't playing defense with their feet. They're reaching and grabbing too much.
60 seconds gone by, and both teams with a couple of quick turnovers committed.
Indian Creek with 9, 14 denied by Greencastle.
A lot of time left in this one, though, for the Tiger Cubs. Adams crossing over his defender, beating Jackson Wise. Adams continuing to stay aggressive.
Well, if you're going to guard Adams, you can kind of tell right now at the varsity level he does not like going to his right, so you want to overplay him and make sure he can't go to his left and try to get the ball out of his hands that way. But every time he drives, he crosses back to the left hand to take it in, so you got to take that away from him.
Adams so far at the free throw line is 1 of 2, now 1 of 3. These free throws are going to be crucial and something that the Greencastle team will look at surely after this game. They have missed more than they've made.
Yeah, they've missed 8. That's 9 unofficially tonight. That's a lot of missed free throws.
So Adams goes 0 for 2. No scoring yet to talk about in this fourth quarter. Each team has had it a handful of times. And an easy foul called against Hutchison.
Well, they went to a little diamond press right there that was very light press, and then once they pulled back across half court, not a good foul that time by Hutchison that far away from the basket. Just play defense, play your assignment, and then we'll worry about it from there, but don't make a foul that far away from the basket.
Tough pass to sneak into Christie. They kick it out. Garriott will try a 3. He's too strong on that one. Wilson rises up high for the board. Up the floor to Hutchison. 2-man game, and Adams beat everybody.
Well, there's an instance where Indian Creek made the mistake of not getting back on defense. He really didn't take a good shot at the other end. They really got the double whammy, you might say, by not getting back on defense.
Tiger Cubs force a timeout called by Coach Glenser of Indian Creek. It appears to be a full timeout, but we'll keep things right here with 6:12 left to go in this fourth and final quarter. Stay up to date with all sports news using our sports page at indianasrn.org, or check it out, Troy at radiotroy.com. Hey, I know that guy.
Hey, let me tell you what. If Michigan loses tonight, I am not getting up in the morning and doing anything. I will protest a loss for tonight.
Good thing is they're off to a good start. They're up 7-0 in the first quarter against Iowa.
Listen, being a Michigan fan, and I've been a Michigan fan for a long time, and when Jim Harbaugh's been the coach, there's been some good times, but he's disappointed me more often than not, so I always go thinking, they're going to blow it somehow. So that's why I'm so surprised about the win last week.
Well, Indianapolis is hopping with Michigan and Iowa fans. The Wolverines trying to make it to the college football playoff, which we expect will include Georgia, Alabama, although Alabama did beat Georgia today. The Bulldogs still with just the one loss. We expect them to stay in the playoff. And those two will probably include Cincinnati in that playoff as they were victorious in their conference championship game tonight.
And then we wait on Michigan.
Michigan is either going to cap off the Final Four, or they'll leave the door open for a team like Notre Dame to sneak in. But
and then nobody from the Big Ten in it again. Well, I shouldn't say again, but this year. That'd be tough.
So the Irish watching this game closely, probably rooting for Iowa. But the Wolverines definitely the favorite in that one, and right now up 7-0.
You know, Hutchison made another foul up front. They're going to move him out on the wing because he's having a difficult time. And I know he wants to be aggressive at the top, but the one thing he has to do, not commit those fouls that far away from the basket, because you're going to put Indian Creek into the bonus here pretty soon.
And the bonus we could get to soon. Another three rattles in for Javon Crouch. He has 22, as does Braxton Christie. These two dominating this game tonight.
Boy, the shooting, they've just been absolutely incredible, very consistent, doing a great job with the open shot.
And a turnover by the Tiger Cubs.
15 now, too many for Greencastle.
Crouch has made 3 threes. This guy right here, Braxton Christie, has 6. 18 of Christie's points, 18 of his 22 have been from the three-point range. Adams picks up a steal. But the Tiger Cubs need more of this turning into points.
Well, they're going to have to work a little faster, too, and they did right there.
Hutchison works quickly indeed, knocks down that three, and Coach Rector pleading for a timeout, and he gets it after that made three. It's a full timeout. We'll take a break. 5:03 left to go in this fourth quarter. The Tiger Cubs trail by 9, 49-40.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
Out of the timeout called by Greencastle, back at the McAnally Center with Troy Daragowski. Jarrett Lewis with you on hand. Indiana SRN, our second of 2 games.
Don't forget your Christmas music.
That is right. Indiana SRN 24/7 Christmas music that you can listen to for the rest of the month on indianasrn.org. Nice passing down low as getting behind the defense was Javon Crouch, who is now the leading scorer with 24.
Yeah, they executed that very well, and that backside defense kind of fell asleep, didn't realize he was there. That's a great play.
Wilson with the left hand easily answers right back.
Yeah, it looked like the old-time basketball where you kind of cross those guys and everybody clears out and the defender doesn't see the basketball and you fake it and take off. Good play there, too.
Wilson will now work in the top of this 1-3-1 defense. Wilson measures up at 6'3", one of the tallest players for Greencastle. Hutchison has him by an inch or two. stepping in just inside the three-point line. Again, that was Christie. Christie's not just a three-point specialist.
Well, the one thing you can't do now, you can't trade baskets. You need to get some stops and then get a couple of good possessions, get this thing back down under 10 and give yourself a chance in the last 4.
And now under the halfway mark of this fourth and final quarter. Hutchison waiting for someone to get open. Rogers curls in and uses the glass nicely. Tyler Rogers has 8 points.
They did a great job. Almost looked like he was going to come over the top of the rim, able to slide back to his right, and then Wilson picks up the foul right there. We've seen 3 fouls 40 feet or so away from the basket, and now you're in the bonus. You're going to give them free points or at least free opportunities right here, and you can't do that. I would rather see that ball get down lower and you have more defenders down there to work with, but when you're fouling way out front, I'm sure Coach Rector is just thinking, I don't know why we're doing that, because that's not how we designed that defense to work.
And now Armstrong will bank it in with the free throw. That's a couple of times now we've seen guys using the bank.
Well, that's why it's there. I mean, if we didn't have one, why don't you just get rid of it and just put the rim there, right?
And I'm not sure why I'm realizing this, but I was not expecting Armstrong to be left-handed. He only has 2 points. Going back to the topic of left-handed people, he just doesn't look like a left-handed guy to me as this shot hits the top of the backboard.
What does a left-handed guy look like? Can you give me a hint?
I don't know.
It's different. It's hard to explain, isn't it?
It is. It's just a feeling.
And if you ever talk to them, they look at you like you're like from Mars or something, you know. My left-handed guy said you can't trust him, and it's like, okay, I don't trust you as a left-hander. So they're sneaky.
They are. In the corner, Christie can't make his 7th three. Wilson with the board. Adams, he's a lefty, and his three's no good. Tipped around, Miller almost had it as Netherly sweeps in and steals it away.
Yeah, Netherly's one of those guys, look, he's already got a goatee. I didn't have a goatee till I was like 40. And he's got a goatee and everything. And he gets in there, and he's just one of those guys who cleans up the dirty mess, doesn't mind diving on the floor. We saw him earlier saving a ball from going out of bounds. He didn't get the headlines, but he's doing the dirty work.
Netherly, no points, is one of the starting 5 for Indian Creek, but has done most of the dirty work as Wilson nowhere to go with the basketball and looked like he stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, he got trapped down there, and really there was nobody to throw to on the wing, so he had no opening there. If you're going to drive that baseline, you better make sure you either have a way to the basket or a way to get rid of it.
Having to pick up the intensity on defense as Hutchison steps way out. Nearly getting a steal was Cole.
Yeah, you got to chase now, and you're going to end up having a foul here pretty soon.
Moving the ball around nicely are the Braves, and here's a steal by Miller. Bad pass from Armstrong. Miller nearly gets tackled down by Garriott.
Well, if you're on the Indian Creek side, spread it out and make them come chase you still. That's a dangerous cross-court pass you made right there, and the one thing about it, that'll be a learning process later on. If you get in that situation, you're going to go, I can't do that again. Make the safer pass, come to the basketball.
Both teams now in the 1-and-1. Miller sinks the first one. He's now 2 of 5 from the charity stripe. I want to remind you this broadcast is copyrighted by Indiana SRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association. The use of pictures, video, and audio without the express written permission of the IHSAA is strictly prohibited.
You're down by 8. You still got 2.5 left. Make a move here pretty quick. Don't give this to the end where you got to start fouling and putting them on the line.
Still a game within reach for Greencastle. They trail by 8, but you're going to need some turnovers and points off of them as Wilson picks up another foul. I think that's number 4 on Kiefer.
If you look at Indian Creek, Coach Perry, he had all 5 players. If you drew a line down the middle of the floor, everybody was on that side. It was too overloaded. They need to get a little more balance on their floor to spread things out.
They go well into the backcourt with this inbounds pass to Garriott.
So, if you're Indian Creek, there you go. More balance right there. You've got a guy in the middle. You got your 4 corners. Now they've got to chase or foul.
Layups or free throws at this point for Indian Creek.
Yeah, the thought press, I don't have to score again if I don't need to.
Nice backdoor cut by Crouch. And a quick whistle and a timeout, full timeout from Coach Glenser of Indian Creek. 1:49 left to go in this final quarter. The Braves trying to hold on to this one.
How does a good man become even better? By working out? Or by working his way up the corporate ladder? By changing his diet? Or by changing his style? By traveling the world? Or by staying perfectly still? For 300 years, we've helped good men become the best versions of themselves through a dedicated fraternity and by taking an oath to live a life of integrity, service, and brotherly love. Men who are as committed to each other and their families as they are to our noble cause. In the end, we don't just make men better, we make them Masons. Not just a man, a Mason.
Back out of the timeout, called by Indian Creek. The Braves currently up 10, 56-46 our score. Greencastle having to score quickly and often. They want a chance to win this ball game. If not, they'd start the season 0-3.
Yeah, well, Indian Creek, they called timeout for defensive purposes because they want to make sure they don't miss assignments, and they got the turnover.
Rogers saves it, but it's into the hands of Armstrong. And now we start the fouling game if you're Greencastle. Adams having to pick up that one.
Had no choice. As you said earlier, you got to score quickly and often, but then on the other side, you got to make some stops. You're going to have to gamble anyway to get some steals. You're down by 10. So you got to find a way to get the basketball back. And the good news is you've stopped the clock. The bad news is you potentially give up some points here at the line.
Marriott's first free throw is no good. Off the back iron. Now Miller will push it up. Adams trapped into the corner and gets a bump from Garriott.
Well, Indian Creek, you really don't need to foul right there because now you look at the other side, clock is off again. You're going to give Greencastle a chance to get some points on the board while the clock is stopped. So, yeah, again, will be a learning situation sometime down the road that you'll take the film and look at it and go, we can't do that because bottom line is we've got a 10-point lead. There's no need to foul right there.
Adams' free throw is no good, and a lane violation called against the Tiger Cubs, so it wouldn't have counted anyways.
Yeah, stepped over the line too quickly. You know, he knew when he shot it, it wasn't going to go in. Thought maybe he'd be able to sneak in there and get an offensive rebound, but it didn't work.
Adams, unfortunately, 1 of 5 from the free throw line tonight. Down the court to Garriott, and he'll wisely bring things back out.
Now back to the 4 corners, and you got a foul right here. Not much else you can do.
Starting to look like too little too late here for Greencastle, and of course having to foul. Maybe the guy you do foul is Garriott after he did miss that previous shot.
This game made the turn when Christie came back into the ball game there in the third as the miss, and he hit those 2 3-pointers, and they Tiger Cubs got it to 7, and then it went back to double digits, and it just kind of seemed like it took all the energy out of Greencastle despite a couple of late runs.
Wilson trying to make a quick decision and dump it down low to Hutchison, but Cole may have not been ready for that one, and it's a quick turnover. And now, obviously, you bring in this full court pressure.
18 turnovers tonight unofficially for Greencastle. You'd like to get that down when you're playing good teams, sometime down the road. If you can get that 10 under, give yourself an extra 8-9 possessions in the ball game, which could turn anywhere to 10 to 12 points, maybe even more, depending on if you hit a couple of threes. It certainly makes a big difference.
The free throw shooting hasn't been good for either team in this fourth quarter. 3 of 9 are the two teams combined. With 10 free throws against Greencastle, it'll be 2 shots for Netherly, and for the first time, he gets a point.
Netherly, as I said, the guy who does all the dirty work, gets down there and cleans things up. When's the first time you had a goatee? I mean, this guy's only, 17, 18 years old?
I can't grow any sort of facial hair, Troy. I mean, it's not happening.
It will someday.
Well, we've been waiting.
Here's number 19.
And there will be a foul call. No sense in fouling probably at this point. Rogers will get tagged for this one. But from start to finish, it was really the Indian Creek Braves from the beginning. Braxton Christie had 16 points in the opening quarter. He made 4 threes. Looks like he's going to finish the night with 24. And a total of 6 made threes. That free throw off from Armstrong. Also leading them in scoring, another senior in Javon Crouch. 13 points at the half, and he is going to finish tonight with 26.
Well, don't be too surprised the way that Indian Creek shot the three, simply because they attempted so many coming in, so they know what they're doing from an offensive standpoint. But they also shot 44% from three-point range. So it isn't like it's a mystery. They hit the shots tonight. A lot of times on the road you don't shoot as well, but we've been in this gym a couple of times now, and it's a very good gym to shoot in, very comfortable. The surroundings are nice. The background is nice. Everything is good for a shooter, so don't be too surprised.
Let's also give some credit a little bit to the Indian Creek defense. They have forced a lot of turnovers, and this is a team through 3 games, on average, 70 points given up to their opponents, which is a huge mark at the high school level. And at the moment, just 46 given up to the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, that's big. They really stepped it up defensively here tonight. That really makes a big, big difference.
That 3 in and out from Boyd Inslee, who is going to wrap up the final 30 seconds. A few other substitutions for Greencastle include Jacob Simmerin, also Austin Hassler. For Indian Creek, a couple of players have checked in for them, including Aiden Pemberton. He wears number 10. This free throw no good from Simmerin. Also, there is Sighting. He's checked in. He wears number 24. So, not sure what the story is for him, but he came in averaging 15 points a game, which was second on the team.
Yeah, no word on why he didn't play up until now. We thought maybe he was injured or whatever the case may be, but we'll have to wait and get that answer another time.
So Indian Creek will have it, and they will let these final seconds tick off the clock and pick up their first win of the season, and it comes against the Greencastle Tiger Cubs in a Western Indiana Conference matchup. 59-47 is our final score. The Braves now move to 1-3 on the season, while Greencastle starts this year 0-3.
Well, they have things to build on, certainly if you're Greencastle, because as I mentioned earlier, they could have gotten blown out. They were down by 14 at one stage in the ball game, but they battled back, made it a 7-point ball game, stayed in it until, again, those 2 big threes by Christie in the third just kind of took them out of it right there, and they really never regained that energy they had once they made that first run, but they got a lot of things to look at that they can build on for the rest of the year.
A real off-balance box score on the side of Indian Creek. We've already mentioned the tremendous games tonight from Crouch and Christie. They combined for 50 points, and Javon Crouch leading the way in that column with 26. Leading the team in scoring for Greencastle tonight was Anthony Adams with 15, 13 points added by Cole Hutchison, and Tyler Rogers third in that category with 8. There again is your final score, 59-47 in favor of the Indian Creek Braves. Shout out to our cameraman tonight, Nick Lewis. A tremendous job by him as always. Our producer tonight, James Andrews, also terrific for us. And my broadcast partner, Troy D. My name is Jarrett Lewis. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game. So long, everybody.